Yo, we're live. Live and direct. Yo, we're live. Well, go on. What's everybody saying? Everyone here? Can anyone hear me? Put your ones up if you're in the building. You can hear me. I like put a bing. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Big up everybody. Big up everybody inside. Mad pasta last night. You know what I'm saying? Mad pasta last night. We're not starting out this one with pasta still. Big up Simon the White, Melanated, Queen J, Daniel Kai, Rafu, Men Need Gal, Speakers Corner Skits, DJ Rizza, Nif Killer, The Sensible One, Buddha Bing, Royston Davis, NLP. Yo, I see the family. Trust me. You know, I got that smile on my face. You know what I mean? I might even have to put my camera on for some of this show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got some announcements to make. And yeah, big shout out to anyone that's been supporting the channel. You get me? Right now, yeah, it's time for that Lions Den. For the real Lions Den for show itself, you know? 1 minute. Give me a second. Alright. Let's see. Alright. Yes. Big up everyone inside. Man's got a new music release. Man filmed this a little while back. You know what I'm saying? With my brother in Birmingham. When I went on a Birmingham tour, shout out man like One Eye. Tomorrow I'll be fully officially releasing the tune. So yeah, look out for that. Yeah, yesterday Waleed and Zubaydah, and there's so much more information coming out. I'm gonna be forced to talk on it. So much, bro. So much. Yeah. And their fake marriage contract. You get me? Yeah. Faz, yeah, we got the Delil on that still. So we're gonna do this show for a straight hour with Buddha and Bugs, and we're dealing with like, because obviously I've been onto the right wing, yeah, and like I've had people like Nine Ether tell me, even though for me personally, like oppression of any people, man's gonna speak out against that. Like I'm not gonna see a group and say because it doesn't affect me that it's not important. But with the right wing, yeah, people like Nine Ether have asked, what has it got to do with us? What has it got to do with the black community? You know what I'm saying? So when you're seeing the Windrush deportations, yeah, or Tommy Robinson, for example, yeah, why are we against Tommy Robinson? Let's say that, innit? You get me? So when you're talking about a man that's, because remember, there's three things the man are dealing with, yeah? The man are dealing with Islamization of this 6% Muslims that are gonna come with Muslimic ray guns and apply Sharia. So because of that, we have to treat that population different. All right, cool, say nothing. But on top of that, there's something they're dealing with called immigration, yeah? And what people don't understand with this immigration thing is a lot of the time, yeah, when they're talking about immigration, yeah, we are all, if you're from an ethnic minority, yeah, and I don't care, I don't care, obviously if you're black, you're probably going to be like seen as the worst, yeah, but then into some people, it's going to be the Pakistanis, yeah, but if you're black, if you're Chinese, if you're African, if you're Chinese, if you're, I don't care what you are, if you're Indonesian, bruv, you could be Australian, bruv, to some of these guys. You could be, bruv, you could be Irish to some of these guys. yeah, you're an immigrant. Yeah. Yeah, they don't care how many generations, Windrush, third generation, they don't care about all of that. Yeah, because they don't know that when they see you. So the whole mentality against immigrants is based upon the look. So you could be Polish, you could be whatever, bruv. With the Brexit thing, these men are trying to stop the Eastern Europeans coming in more than anything else. Do you know what I'm saying? And now, obviously, we have the Windrush deportations. And my brother Buddha made a request for us to deal with the thing. And obviously, you done know, man's definitely going to deal with the thing. So, yeah, big up everyone in the place. And books should be rolling through as well. And yeah, I'm going to be adding Buddha, and we're going to go through this Windrush thing and what's going on. There was a protest that I wanted to attend, but I wasn't able to. But I will definitely try to be at the next one. I've got a big event on Saturday in Holborn, Central London, at the Building of Economics. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the outcome of that will be very interesting. Yeah, mad thing. Yeah, but differently from that now. Big up my Generali C4 Blaster. How you mean? Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I was talking about the Windrush protest, and obviously I wasn't there, but you had gangman them there. Shout out the gorillas. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my elders, the gorillas. Them, you get me? Cause they was down there on the front line. I think content was definitely down there as well. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. So yeah, big up everybody in the building. Man has a respect. Yeah. And we're gonna start out with a little tune. Like I said, this should be officially releasing tomorrow, or I might even just send out the link now. Yeah, Jupiter, you got a special request from Buddha to be involved in this conversation if you want. You get me? I was asked her because I don't think he wants an echo chamber. He does want to hear a difference in opinion. You know what I'm saying? Liam, I've gone to the hangouts and see if Liam and them man's about. Or if, yeah, so it should be an interesting conversation still. Either way, big up everyone inside. You know the thing. Tell a friend to tell a friend we're live again in the Lions Den where the vibes don't end, but with the wicked, there winner. With the wicked, there winner. All right. Mix and blend. All right, we're getting this thing on now. Yeah. All right, let me just. Yeah, I show where I start with, but it's still quite like the situation is very political in it with the Windrush generation because they're deporting people from Caribbean descent. And yeah, just be interesting to see the different views and opinions on Wagwan. You get me? Come on, Queen J. Come on, Muslim on Hack. Come on, Speakers, Corner Skits. You get me? You lot are lucky Johnny Hussein was not here yet, Kai, where they killed you lot on the trigger finger. But yeah, big up everyone in the place. Just want to big up everyone. Yeah, my ones, you get me? Big up all the family. Agree or disagree. Yeah, we see Wagwan. Big up the 26 likes. Put your ones up in the building just so I can say bless up. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, put the ones up. Put some fire emojis if you want to hear me run tune and stop talking though as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And obviously I should be releasing. Obviously it's not me releasing it. It's my brother from Brum, but I'll be sending out the link to this tune tomorrow. You get me? If you got certain sources. And obviously it'll be in the Patreon today. Yeah. So yeah, you lot are going to get a early little shimmies. You get me? But yeah, big up Akil Hassan, Unknown One, Rodney K, Muslim on Hack, Squidgy Black, Real Guy, Real TV, Speakers Corner Skits, NLP, Empress Ali, Weed, J777, Becky, Men Need Gal, Dunya is Nothing, Nash Lion, DJ Rizza, Rafu, C4 Blaster, Queen J. Yeah. What you saying? No fire emojis. No one want to hear the tune, yeah? You just want to hear me talking. All right, cool. Say nothing. I'll talk. You know I could talk for ages. Especially about something I'm passionate about. You get me? You got I and I Shia. I go quick like, hey, renderer. Yo, you lot, I got to thank A Renderer for yesterday's show, you know. And there's someone else you got to thank as well, because then come with the saucy dealer. What do they call it? What do they call it? Let me just quote them directly so people, you get me? Someone gave me some sauce. Yeah? Yeah, it's peak. You know what I'm saying? Big up A Renderer, show up Kareem. You get me? Rafi, Rodney K, J777, Cavern, alright, cool, say nothing. Big up man like weed, you know. Big up man like weed, you know. Yeah. A Renderer gave me the bird call yesterday to show me some pagan boy I was chatting. But I didn't see you. You get me? Yo, Buddha, you ready to go, yeah? You good to go? You good to go, Buddha? Yeah, so yeah, we got the ITALs to start out with, but it's a saucy ITAL. You get me? You have to keep, because you see the thing about the ITAL in the lines, then even the ITAL saucy though. That's the thing. I'd bear ITAL saucy, you know, that's what you don't realize. You get me? The pastor, I don't even mean for the pastor to happen. It just happens. You get me? But yeah, let me just, yeah. All right, I see the fire emoji still. So I'm gonna let the thing run. And I'm gonna see if Buddha's in the building. And I'm gonna send out the link still.
We came from a distant land, our lives already planned. We came in ships from across the sea.
That was it. Yo, I got some juicy stuff for you still. You know what I mean? That was the message I was saying. Big up my ones out there, you know. My silent ones. I ain't even gonna talk too much because hey, you can't bait up the thing, you get me? But yeah, trust me, it's peak. Oh, blood. I'm bound to do the girl, purple girl, and Stinky Fingers. Anyone who was here yesterday knows who Stinky Fingers is, bruv. Yeah? Alright.
We came from a distant land, our lives already planned. We came in ships from across the sea. Never again home we'd see. And now we become
niggas. Took our identities and our phones, from kings and queens to the roads. And us poverty driven, selling dope. When they was killing us off in their clothes. Now we killing each other for these codes. Those who know the truth won't even flinch. If you knew about the theories of Willie Lynch. Back in the days we couldn't talk, so we gotta give thanks to Rosa Parks. Randolph for showing us how to march. I thank those for showing us out the dark. Huey P. Newton and Mark Clark, they was real Black Panthers with a bark. They used on plantation as diggers, so I gotta salute to all my niggas.
how we do know what this land would bring.
You ready for rhyme schemes?
That blood would flow because of the color of skin.
From niggas to niggas, hey, kings into killers, hey, came from riches, they raped and they pillaged, facts, robbed by the wicked that came to the village, raised by hitters, my youngest are drillers, food gets delivered, my brothers are dealers, no love for snitches, we promise them stitches, claim to be with us, see through these lizards, riding with killers to side killers, vicious from niggas to niggas, we've been the believers, the literal Jesus had different features, these typical preachers ain't spiritual leaders, wicked procedures that wish to mislead us, sinning deceivers that think that they're teachers, hid all the secrets but still we are seekers, vigilant readers, militant speakers, sick of these demons, we're miracle healers.
How we do know what this land would bring. That blood would flow because of the color of our skin.
Oh yeah, the end's funny still.
Niggas.
What is the language of origin?
Ethiopian to Amharic.
What is the definition?
A king. It's used as a title of the sovereign of Ethiopia. Negus.
Negus. Could you use it in a sentence?
The Negus ruled Ethiopia until the coup of 1974.
Negus.
Big up the Nagashi still. Tell a friend to tell a friend we're live again in the line then. So yeah, that's gonna be released tomorrow. Patreons, you'll get that tonight. Yeah, but all right, so let's just get on to this thing. Yeah, let me just send out the link to Buddha and you know, just get this party started straight away off the back. There you go, Buddha, Jupiter, and Bugs. And yeah, I'm gonna start out the panel like that. Buddha can request if he wants to request anyone else, but try and make sure it's not a pastor conversation, so I don't think we need too many voices. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Buddha's here. Well, go on, Buddha.
Yo, big up Rash, well go on, brother.
You got yourself, my brother.
Well, how you moving up on the channel yesterday, boy? Jesus. Move right, it'll go up. Yo.
Enough pastor last night, right through to 7 o'clock. So it's only right, man. Give the people some eye tal right now. You get me? I think they need some eye.
Real.
So
For real.
Get me? So I'm gonna let you kind of lead this thing. You get me? But I'm here. I'm doing my thing. But I'm gonna let you kind of lead the thing still.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Big up YouTube chat. Yeah, it's your boy Buddha Bing alongside the man, the fire bingy. Respect. So I'm waiting for Bugs as well still, but open panel as always. But I've got some requests, like Ras said earlier, if we could maybe have someone with a different perspective and point of view, such as maybe Jupiter, Wendy. I know James Jones has always got a different kind of a perspective. I don't really want this thing to be like an echo chamber. So if someone's gonna come in here and give us a different point of view, maybe we can see things a little bit differently. But right about now, I'm gonna need the family's help still. From time to time, I'm gonna ask you to put some 1s and 2s in the chat. Please have some patience with me because I'm trying to get understanding here. I need you guys to walk with me because, like we say, it's a journey, innit? It's a journey in life and wisdom, and I'm trying to get some wisdom here because certain things don't make no sense to me. And as always, I come to the family to try and make sense of no sense still. All right, cool. Ras, are you there?
I'm here, man. Live and direct.
Right. Cool. Can we let me just do a quick disclaimer. Due to the subject content that we're going to be discussing today, all the views and opinions of the contributors are exactly that. It's their views and opinions under freedom of speech and freedom of expression. They don't necessarily reflect on the Respects Rebellion or myself. All right, cool. Now that's out of the way. So, Ras, are you familiar with what's been happening recently in regards to the deportation of people to Jamaica?
Yeah, I'm definitely aware of that. Obviously, this started months ago, innit? Like,
so we had a situation whereby people who are descendants of the Windrush generation. So, for instance, you may have a lady and a man come over to the UK during the late 60s to perform and work within the NHS or the London transport system, etc., etc. Now, while they came over, they also brought children. Some of them brought children with them. And at that time, and I do believe now, you're still able to travel on your mother and father's passport if you're a child. So we had the instance whereby these people came over from the Caribbean and they brought children with them under their own passports. So those children never had their own passports. So therefore, they never had citizenship on paper, literally on paper. So as time transpired, the government took it upon themselves to say, oh, well, these people were never, actually naturalized. I believe the correct terminology is naturalized British. So therefore, they're not British, so we can send them back. This was bad on several levels. Do you know what? I don't know if you can screen share on this thing. But look, there was
you can
sorry,
go. Yeah, send me a link. I can screen share for them for you, bro.
Where can I send that to? Where do you want me to send that to?
You can. There's a back chat in this thing. There's something called. You should be able to see a private chat. If you put the link.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can see it. All right. Yo, family, you're gonna have to bear with me. I got a new phone and it's kind of mad. But there was a memo going around, and the wording within that memo was things like target low hanging fruit. Now, words like low hanging fruit, they have some serious connotations.
Someone's got their YouTube on in the background. And turn down the YouTube. What go on, John? What go on, Jupiter? Yeah, Buddha just dropped out, but he should be coming back. He got a special request from Buddha. John will get an interesting have an interesting opinion as well. Yeah. So yeah, Buddha, are you back in the building?
I'm back. Do you know what, Ras? I can't even. Every time I try and Google something, it dashes me off this browser, so I can't even Google nothing. But let me just continue onto what I was saying in regards to the Windrush. So we're now in a position where a plane left earlier on this week, and it contained ex-criminals, ex-prisoners, and they were no longer welcome in this country, and they were taken back to Jamaica. Now, these criminals apparently they had no national citizenship within the UK. They weren't British nationals. Mm-hmm. Okay, so my first question would be: is that racist? Does that have any sort of racism in it? Let me ask that to Raspek first. Go ahead, Ras. What do you think?
So for me, yeah. Like my stance on even like, you know how you have certain people that will say, we're Windrush, so we got more rights than the next man and this and that. Like, as far as immigrants are concerned, yeah, I think every man should just have the same human rights. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on, innit? I'm on the same human rights, because when like, yeah, I'm not really in this. You know me already. I don't really even believe in the borders in the way that they're enforced. Like, I understand in regulating a land, you get me, to some degree, but I believe that human beings should be able to go anywhere they want to go. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, because obviously I'm just thinking we was born on this world, you know what I'm saying? But like, people have been traveling across different places from the longest. There was a time when, you know what I'm saying, whatever's Ghana and Nigeria now, back in the day was like two different countries. Do you know what I'm saying? Or they was all one empire at one point. So I don't really believe in these man-made things, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that like there's systematic racism where the whole agenda and the outlook on how people see immigrants. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then that outlook on how they see immigrants, I think that reflects on how they treat us as what they would call British nationals anyway. You get me?
Right.
So for me, I'm like, I've got the same rights as an immigrant. I don't want to be above no one, basically. You know what I'm saying? I'm not above no one, you know, in the eyes of God. So I don't really care what man's. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Jupiter, let me ask you the same question. And hello, good evening, by the way. Let's do this. So do you think the deportation of these individuals back to Jamaica, do you think that's in any way sort of form racist?
Not if they're going to be fair and do it for all denominations. If I've noticed, whether I'm correct or not, because sometimes when you check into things, it turns out that what you observe isn't necessarily the truth. But I would say that we don't seem to be seeing as many of these Muslims being thrown out of the country that are terrorist fighters and that. I mean, we've let them come back in from fighting abroad, and I don't understand that. Yeah, we've got people that are being born in this country, raised in this country, committing an equally violent crime, and yet they're being chucked out of the country. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for chucking out people that are illegals and doing violent crime, but I do think it needs to be fair and across the board.
Okay, so just to clarify something, people who have committed crimes that aren't British nationals are regularly deported from the UK. So they'd go to prison. Let's say someone was from, I don't know, Zambia, and they come to the UK, they commit a crime, they serve their sentence, and then they go and get deported. So that's a regular thing. But what we haven't seen is deportations en masse. We haven't seen plane loads of people being sent and deported from the UK to foreign seas. So would you say it's racist? Maybe a yes or no would help, just for now, I suppose.
For me, I would say there does seem to be racist undertones to it. Yeah.
Jupiter, you disappoint me. I wanted a counter view, but okay, never mind. Let's go for the other gentleman. Sorry, what's your name, sir?
John.
Joe. Okay, Joe. John. Apologies, John. Yeah, go ahead, John. What did you want to say? Do you think it's
well, my
racist?
dad came in 1930s, and what he did, he made sure.
Where did your dad come from?
Jamaica.
In the 1930s.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Go on.
And he made sure that all his paperwork were correct. They didn't bring any children over with him, but he made sure that his paperwork correct because he envisioned, he foreseen what was going to happen with the Windrush generation. Yeah.
Okay.
He's seen it coming. Now, obviously, it's wrong that some of them have been sent back. I totally agree. It was a big scandal. But the ones who have been sent back now, one of them only come in 2002. And he beat a woman, nearly killed her. And David Lammy and Diane Abbott don't say anything about him. They say everything about all of them. He should be going back, that guy, because he's not a Windrush person. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just get this clear then, John. Are you saying that the crime befits the punishment in regard to deportation? So let's say if you stole a Mars bar from a shop, that's not too bad. You don't need to get deported. But if you beat up a woman like you said this guy did, that would result in you being deported. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it was a serious violent crime. You know what I mean? It was a serious violent crime, and them things I all agree with. But what David Lammy and Diane Abbott are not saying, they're not telling you everything about the people who are being sent back. This one guy come in 2001 and 2002, committed some crimes, then levered this woman and nearly killed her. He should be going back.
Okay. All right, so let me do this then. Let me ask you this. One of the individuals that was deported was convicted for crack cocaine dealing, I believe, Class A drugs dealing. Is that a reason to deport? Is that a heavy enough reason to deport?
Yeah.
Okay. What about if somebody was young and they were, say, 17 and they were selling drugs? And they go to prison, they serve 10 years in jail, they come out at the age of 27. Are they still eligible to be deported?
Well, it's not a violent crime, is it? What they were saying about them people if they committed.
Sorry, John. Let me just throw that at Jupiter because Jupiter did say yes. So Jupiter,
right? For me, you've got to fit certain criteria. Number one, you've got to be illegal. Yeah.
Illegal,
and number two, even if you came here at 2 years old and you've lived here most of your life, if you're here illegally and you weren't born here, you haven't got any right, and it has to be violent or likely to be very detrimental to the country. I would say a crack dealer, a cocaine dealer, they are detrimental to our society. If you're talking about someone who's selling a bit of weed, I don't consider that the same sort of level.
Okay. Well, okay. So even regardless of the age, even if they were young doing it, to you that age doesn't really matter. It's the fact that they were selling something is detrimental to society.
Yeah, and that they've got no legal right here.
Okay. What about if the person was taking the cocaine? Like if they were young and they were taking cocaine, do you think that's a crime they should be deported for?
No.
No. So can you have one without the other? Can you have the supply and the demand, i.e. the supply being the person selling it and the person taking it? So on one hand, you're saying, no, it's not too bad to take it, but yes, it is bad to sell it. I'm trying to understand. This is one of the issues.
No, that's
you're not saying that. So,
what I'm saying is that somebody who takes cocaine has actually got an addiction. Normally are people that are have got a void or something wrong with their life, and that's why they fall into the habit, and then the habit gets hold of them, so that they're not able to get rid of that habit. Therefore, there's somebody that's vulnerable. But somebody that's selling to other people and making other people vulnerable knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're not vulnerable people. They're people taking advantage.
Would you say Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, would you say he is a vulnerable person?
Yeah, in some ways. If he's taking cocaine and he's at the helm of the country, you've got to ask yourself what sort of person
can I just
would risk something like that.
All right, just 1 minute. Let me just finish the point, and I'll bring you back in, John. The reason I bring up Boris Johnson is because in 2008, Boris Johnson, in a interview with Janet Street Porter, admitted to taking cocaine while at Oxford, as well as smoking cannabis when he was a teenager. Now, let me just finish. Hold on, Jupiter. Let me just finish. Now, moreover, he's also a foreigner. He's not born in the UK. He's born outside of the UK. So going on what Jeremy Corbyn was saying the other day in Prime Minister's Question Time, I think that's an apt question. Why is Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, where he, in one hand, wants to deport people for selling drugs, but on the other hand, he's quite comfortable admitting that he took drugs?
And because a supplier is not the same as somebody who's got a drug habit, it's not the same level of offence.
Really? Okay. Let me bring in Raspek. Raspek's been quiet. Is that Finest Wine? Big up Finest Wine. What's going on? Ras, you there?
Yes,
what do you think about it? What do you think about that?
I literally just came back in, so I was trying to get where you lot was at.
Okay, so all right, let me go on to John while you catch up. Go ahead, John.
So what is racist though? The 3 girls scandal in Rochdale, yeah? There was 8 men charged and arrested. One of them was called Big Daddy. 5 of them weren't born in England and are still here. Why haven't they been deported?
I agree.
That is racist against black people. It is. Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
The Muslim are getting a free less. They're such a minority.
So, John,
everything.
John.
Wait, sorry. Can I just say the Muslims? That's religion.
One moment. Yeah. 1 moment, Spice. Sorry, not Spice.
Fine wine. Yeah, John, please.
Sorry, apologies. John, Jupiter, I don't want to bring this back to Islam. I know that's your forte of conversation.
Not really, it isn't. I'm more against the Labour Party and the left.
We're not going to make it about religion. Let John be himself.
No, but understand me though. Why aren't them guys been deported?
Okay, we're not actually speaking about that, John. John. John.
Like what I said, but 1 minute.
Yeah, but he's right. That's why I think there is an element of racism to it.
The Muslims is a religion. Like, come on, people, man.
Religion. Are you serious, brother?
The Muslims.
I might have to leave because this girl doesn't debate. She
Goodbye.
No, yo, Jupiter, it's not.
Go on your way back, on your way out.
You'll find this now, but the point she made, she's not getting at you, Jupiter. It's a very valid point.
The can't do proper debate. Sorry, not with me anyway.
Right now, you're just corresponding with Buddha in it, but she was just putting in the fact that Muslims isn't a religion. You know what I'm saying? But big up Finest Wine. Good to have you in the place. I'm sure we can have an amicable conversation about the Windrush thing. Buddha especially requested Jupiter and John and these different mentalities, so it will be interesting to hear their perspectives. At the same time, I think Finest Wine just made a very, very, because Muslims is a religion. So when you say they're not deporting the Muslims, you'd have to be talking about an ethnic group for you to make it racism. So they're not deporting the Pakistanis, or they're not deporting the I think that's what you lot actually mean, because you're probably trying to come with this like grooming kind of agenda, yeah. But I'm saying that even then, yeah, like we'd have to go into that, because someone might be able to bring up another point, John, of someone from Caribbean descent that hasn't been deported for the same crime. So it doesn't really make sense. But at the same time, we can debate about it. I'm going to bring Buddha back in, but just before that, I'm just going to big up everybody in the place. I need to shout out the 44 likes, everyone that slapped the like button. Yes, and then is upgraded. As you can see, we got the website on the screen in bold writing. And anyone that wants to support can click the link in the description. We've got exclusives coming out. If you want the exclusives before they come out, become a Patreon. Sign up to the website mailing list on the website. And if you want to be able to use YouTube with no like adverts and all of that, download the web browser. All of that is in my description. Yeah. So big up everyone in this place. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do one thing, but I can't remember. Yo, Buddha, come back true, and then I'm gonna and then at like 9:30 we'll kind of review where we're at. Yeah.
All right, cool. Listen, Russ, I'm gonna have to jump out and jump back in again. My phone's gone funny. Give me a sec.
All right, cool.
I did actually meet a Jamaican girl the other month who were born here and still had to pay money because of the Windrush. Honestly, it wasn't that she were born over there and she come on a passport. She were born here. For some reason, she never got the right paperwork filled in. And even though she were born here, she had to pay money to get that paperwork filled in and all that. Fucking scandalous, man, honestly.
Yeah. Because the cost of immigration is actually really, really high.
Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, guys. Let me just get back to what we was talking. I want to try and keep this on focus on the Windrush and the deportation of the people to Jamaica. I don't really want to talk about abuse cases, etc., etc. That's been done ad nauseum. I'm sure you can appreciate that. Right. So for me, I'm looking at this. It's a little bit. How can I put this? It's a bit hypocritical. Here we have people consuming a product which is illegal, i.e., drugs, a class A, and the person selling it is deported. The person taking it becomes the prime minister. Now, there's a serious disparaging context to this whole thing. Moreover, the person that was selling the drugs, why was he not deported straight away? Why was he made to serve his time and then be deported? Why is it that people get arrested, serve their time allegedly to be rehabilitated? Because clearly if someone is in prison and they're rehabilitated, they can be in society. If what you're saying is that they're not being rehabilitated, they're being punished, then clearly if they're being punished, they should be stripped of their leave to stay and removed from the country straight away. Would you not agree?
No. I think well, no, for the actual punishment, yeah, actually I would agree with you. They should go straight back to the country of their origin and serve their time there. Their prisons would be a lot worse than what ours are, and I think that they'd get a worse punishment. But when it comes to it, you can't compare somebody using drugs or being a habitual user to somebody that's actually selling them. Why
can you not?
One is profiting themselves off of the back of other people. The other person is only damaging themselves and maybe indirectly through their actions under the influence, but they're not doing it premeditated. The other
well, I don't know about that, because most people who have a substance misuse issue actually inflict a lot of other damage on society, i.e. they might steal from businesses to fund their habit, or burglaries, all sorts of criminality, whether it be murder, rape, all kinds of different stuff.
True, okay? But they're under the influence, don't they, Buddha? And second,
yeah, they are.
If the supplier hasn't been there to supply it, they wouldn't be able to buy it.
Okay. Well, look, I wanted to kind of clarify this a little bit, because here we have a load of people by the plane load being shipped out to countries of their origin. Meanwhile, someone like Rolf Harris, who was born in Australia, is walking around, a paedophile who was convicted, served his sentence, and released back into society. Can you see how that is unfair?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you understand why people like us, people of color, would find that the actions of the government and deporting these people back to Jamaica is somewhat racist? Can you understand our position?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Okay, cool. So if we were to do something about this, would you hold it against us? Would you say, what would you want us to do? Would you rather us not do anything about it, or?
Depends what you're going to do. If you're going to try and make sure that all those people stay in our country, then of course I'd be against you. I don't want them type of people here. If you're going to say that you want all the others sent out for equal crimes, I would agree with you. I would back you up and say, yeah, fair enough. Get Rolf Harris out, send him back to Australia.
All right, cool. Let me bring in Finest Wine. Finest, do you want to say something? Finest Wine, are you there? Okay, go ahead, John. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, John, sorry.
I sort of like agree with you. We can't have, you know, like, although Boris Johnson is English, he's probably got his citizenship, whatever. But for him to be taking drugs, then someone else taking drugs and gets deported, it just does seem a bit racist, you know, for that kind of offence. But violent offences, I'm all for, me, you know, getting rid of the people who've done violent offences. But when it comes down to things like drugs, we know that there's a massive problem in England across the board with drugs. Yeah. Like you said, it affects a lot of things, not just them pinching off other people. It's affecting families, communities, the National Health Service, because we have to have people on methadone and stuff like that. So if you put all that in as well, it'd be unfair to send the guy back just because he took drugs. You know what I mean? When there's a massive problem. But I don't know the full gist of everything, so I can't really. I'm just giving you my opinion. But I would sort of like agree with you on a lot of the things you said there. He's done that, but only one gets sent back. It does seem racist. It does. It just seems one-sided. Especially the Rolf Harris thing.
Yeah. So that being the case, what would you suggest our plan of action would be?
We need to focus on our communities. Definitely. We had the Oldham Bradford riots, and what was blamed on it was lack of integration. That was one of the things that everyone blamed it on. Yeah. And we need to sort that out. We need to integrate people. We need to bring communities together, no matter who's in the community, white, black, pink, whatever. We need to get them working together. And I think that'll give more cohesion to the community. And then these drug problems we have with youngsters will end up phasing out, and they'll respect people more. I got stabbed in Manchester on the 18th of August, 2018. We was on the way home from the gay village area, the canal, and we were accosted by 12 lads, and they're all Windrush generation.
Sorry, right? How do you? Sorry, no, hold on, wait. 12 lads. How old were they?
Age between 15 and 20.
And they were from the Windrush generation at 15 and 20.
Yeah.
No, I'm finding that very hard to believe. How did you know they were from the Windrush generation?
Well, three of them who got caught were in court.
And while they were in court, while they were in court, they said they were from the Windrush.
They might be Windrush grandsons, but what I'm saying, there was West Indians.
Okay, so being West Indian and being from the Windrush generation are separate things. You do realize this, yeah?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I meant grandsons and stuff like that, but they were all West Indian. But the thing was, what the police told us, they don't have respect for anybody, not even the parents and not even like the community leaders, because they didn't have any community
so
leaders.
are you saying that the young people don't have no respect for people, or are you saying the West Indian didn't have any respect for people? Which one is it?
No, a lot of young people now don't have respect, no matter what colour they
so
are.
let's make that distinction, because you know, look, on one hand you're saying integrate. Sorry, on one hand you're saying integrate. You want us to integrate into a government run society that is quite clearly and demonstrably racist in its actions. Do you not see the misnomer in that?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like I said about Oldham, the riots, just look it up. It was lack of integration. Now, I know they weren't Jamaicans, but I see a lot of like lack of integration in our societies and lack of communities.
What does that mean? What community do you mean? Lack of.
You know, like community cohesion, coming together, and like people like in Oldham, we have all sorts of different coloured neighbours, and I'm from a generation where we got on with the people in our community, no matter who they were. But I don't see that now. I don't see that for whatever reason. I don't see that, and I think it's causing problems, like on young people, and then they're going into drugs and things like that. If we have
John, just for a minute, okay? Let's examine that just for 1 second, yeah? Let's examine that and have maybe a hypothesis of sorts. Let's assume that one of these young people had his father deported to Jamaica. Do you not think that young child and that young chap would be somewhat disappointed with society? Is that fair to assume?
Yeah.
Right, so that's fair to assume. Brilliant. So when you say there's lack of integration, is that lack of integration coming from the people that have been here for generations, or is that coming from the people who are changing society for the worse by exhibiting these racial behaviors?
Well, I would say the lack of integration comes from the people who are coming in now, not so much the people who come back in the days. My dad came into England, he integrated well, he got a nice job, he ended up being a union man, sticking up for everyone. We had a pretty good community, but in the past 20 years, then communities are just like being destroyed, man. And it's just problems across the board.
All right, John, give me a second, John. I just wanted to big up Bugs, Negus. You there, Bugs?
Yeah, big up yourself, Buddha. Big up yourself.
Big up, bless up yourself.
Big up to the real ones in the panel here. Big up myself, Rasta. Big up Finest.
In the building. Bazooka Bugs in the building.
Come on. I know. Big up everyone. Hope everyone had a great day today. I see the title and bro, I tell you, man, I had a long shift today, but there's no way man could miss after reading what I just see, man. So boy, I don't know where you're at in the conversation, but yeah, man, for this one still.
Did you catch much of it, Bugs?
No, I haven't caught any of it. I can't lie. I've been on the phone, so I haven't been able to. I've just flipped it on and seen it. So what are you? What are we discussing? What level have we got to at the moment?
You know what? Let me see if I can ask Jupiter to summarize so far. Could you do that, Jupiter?
What do you want me to talk?
Just to bring Bugs up to speed as to what we've just been discussing.
Basically, we're discussing the people that have been sent out of the country recently. The issue came up that they're not actually Windrush generation. And we're talking about the differences between different nationalities of birth and what happens to them. For instance, people brought up Rolf Harris. You've also got John that's mentioned the grooming gangs, and he doesn't understand why there's some people from the grooming gangs that were not born here, why they've not been repatriated to their own countries. We've both said to some extent we would back some sort of I don't know what they're suggesting, a protest or a movement against the fact that it only seems to be one section of society that's being sent back home by the plane load. At the same time, I do agree that illegals that are committing serious violent crime should be sent out of the country, regardless of what country they come from. I don't care if it's third world or not. Rolf Harris can go.
Okay. All right. So, Books, did you want to?
Yeah, I just want thanks, Jupiter, because that was actually a good little quick breakdown. It sounds like you've sort of been speaking for a minute still, so yeah, thanks for that still. But I just wanted to ask. There's one thing that just stuck out in that explanation was what did Rolf Harris have to do with the conversation? How did he get involved in that?
Buddha was pointing out that he's been convicted paedophile. He's let out and he's still walking around, but he's Australian.
Okay. So
That's a big hypocrisy, isn't it?
Yeah, do they sort of agree that, I don't know, maybe if someone like him commits a crime, he should be deported?
Yeah, I think so. He should have his passport taken off him, and he should be sent back to his country of birth. If he's committed paedophilia, that's a heinous crime.
But the question, moreover, is this: why hasn't he? He was released in 2000.
Has been convicted.
Because he was released in 2017, but he's still kicking about the streets while these guys are being taken out of prison and then put straight on a plane and deported. Why was he not held in the deportation center? Why is he free to? So you can understand the disparity that we have amongst what we're seeing in regards to this whole racial thing.
He should go, and so should all of those Pakistanis in that grooming gang that are still.
We're not talking about Pakistanis and grooming gang. We stick to the point.
I'm talking about every nationality. Can
I just say, okay, cool. I'm just gonna say in this conversation, can you refrain from saying race? Why? It's not about that. And it makes it difficult.
It's not
for
about
other
race.
people.
It's racism.
It makes it difficult for people in the comments. You don't need to say Paki or Muslim or that.
I didn't say
whatever it is you're saying. You don't need to say it. That's what I'm saying. Can you reframe and use a different context of talking?
All right, cool. Listen, it's 9:30. We've done half an hour so far. Like and subscribe, family. In the comments, in the chat, do me a favor. Copy and paste this in your WhatsApp group or your Facebook group, whichever it is. Just send out a little a share somewhere. Also subscribe to Bugs Negus TV. Bugsy Dead, do you want to tell the family about your channel just to get a quick hint as to what?
Yeah, for real, man. Subscribe to the channel. I'll put something in the chat in a minute so you can see. My channel's just based around empowering our community, and that's the Black and Caribbean, African and Caribbean community in the UK, putting out news from our perspective and bringing things to light and putting people in touch with other Black businesses, as well as our story, African history, and other things that seem to sort of be held back from mainstream sort of education for some reason or whatever it is. But yeah, please subscribe to the channel, like and that, and yeah, it costs a lot to keep it to spend time to do to fill it with content. But please, yeah, help support the team. Bring up.
Jupiter, I also understand you've got a channel as well. I'm not
get out of here, a Buddha man.
Hold on. She's contributing to the thing.
Yeah, but we can't be doing that, Buddha man. I can't allow that. Nah, man.
Hold on. Let me just finish. I just wanted to understand what Jupiter's channel is about. So, Jupiter, tell us about your channel.
Why do you need to know about my channel?
See it there?
Okay, cool. All right. I know I was just affording you the same thing I gave to Bugs. I'm affording that to you as well. But if you decline that, that's fine. Moving on. Anyway. So
I got one thing, Buddha. I want to jump in and say it. Or we spoke. I want to put this to both. Is it John and Jupiter? Is it John?
All right. Yeah. Hold that, Bugs. Hold that.
Yeah.
I'll bring you in right now. Yeah, I was waiting for a little space still. Carl, that was a bit saucy there still. I was just sitting back with my popcorn. It's ITAL though. But big up the conversation, because I think it's been like a very ITAL conversation. I think there hasn't been a point of contention yet, but I don't think it will be long because there's so much polarized opinions on the panel. I don't think it'll be too long till there's going to be a point of contention. When we do find that point of contention, and when I say point of contention about the discussion at hand, let's just try to keep it about the actual point and try to defer from being getting personal. This today is a special show requested by Buddha. Ital show, and those who have been watching the channel long enough know that Raspberry Rebellion is different from the Lion's Den. Yeah, so right now you're in Raspberry Rebellion. So it's Ital, and anyone that don't fit the conversation, like obviously any madness, like it won't be tolerated in this show still. But obviously you have the pasta as well. You get me? We had enough pasta yesterday, so it's good for us to get some Ital now. And then yeah, man's got something else to deal with later. But big up everyone in the place. Big up the 54. Like actually, 1 minute. Yeah, that's better still. Now I really feel like I'm in the Lions Den. You get me? Jeez, we out here.
Yes, sir. Oh yes.
Yeah, no, we're out here in real life, you know.
You're real, boy. You're too bossy. You know that. You're too bossy.
You get me? Yeah. So big up everyone in the place. Yeah, put a 1 up if you're in the building, just so I can give a quick shout out, and I'm gonna send it straight to Books for him to ask his question to Jupiter and John. Yeah, but enough love to everyone in this place. Enough love to the 56 likes. Yeah, large up my sister Finest Wine, my brother Buddha, my brother Books. Obviously, family tree. You get me? And obviously Jupiter and John is still obviously, you know me. I don't really like the echo chamber thing, and you lot might think I like to do the cussing thing, but I don't really like to do it. I just sometimes things that people say make me passionate, and that's how I feel. You get me? But yeah, it's good to be able to hear all of the different points. And right now, like I said, we haven't really found a point of contention, but I think it's and I do like the polarizedness of a point of contention. Do you know what I'm saying? As much as I like a discussion, so I think we learn much more from the point of contention. There's so many ones I can't shout out. Or actually, let me just quickly shout out everyone. Johnny Empower, Not Telling. Nash Lion, Rodney K, Akil Hassan, Weed, Real Guy, A Golf Hitler, Speakers Corner Skits, Abi Bilal Magrebi, Mr. Ali, Shuab Kareem, Mike 87, Cora, I Hate Pigeons, Lima, Wee Man, Grill, Big Up Abi Bilal. And yeah, let me say, I'm going to share my if anyone wants to support, they can get PayPal link. But I'm going to share my Brave web browser, yeah? So anyone that wants to use a browser that doesn't have no adverts, it's better than Chrome, it's better than Safari, click that and you can download the Brave thing. Big up everyone in the Brave thing, you get me? But Books, you ready to fire? Bazooka, you got your bazooka?
Yeah, I'm still, yeah.
So, your bazooka ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. There's no bazookas still, no bazookas. It's just a simple question I want to put to John Lawrence and Jupiter. It's quite a simple question, and it really just requires a simple answer, because I kind of want to know where people who have their ideology on life in the UK, what they think about this, and it's simply this: we know full well that Rolf Harris and the like have been convicted of the crimes that they've done, and obviously haven't been treated in the same way they've treated people from this Windrush generation, in regards to being threatened with deportation and or being deported. Why do you think that is? Because I know you agree with it. I know you think that. I know Jupiter said clearly here that she agrees with that he should be deported. She agrees with that, as well as any other people who commit crimes who weren't born here. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Why is it that they're getting treated a different way?
You know,
I think probably because they've been legalised and the other people are illegals.
Yeah, hold up. I think Ras was trying to say something. What are you saying, Ras?
You know what I think? I think it's the Pakistani Muslims. No, sorry. I just trolled it. I just trolled it a little bit still. So I shouldn't even troll right now. But yeah, go.
Just contain yourself, yeah. I know what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
Just relax.
So yeah, Jupiter, what was that, please? Yeah. So what do you think the reason for the difference of treatment is?
I would like to think, I hope it is, that it's because Rolf Harris has been legalised, and maybe them other people have already got their papers, so it would have to be stripping them of their citizenships before they send them out. Whereas the ones that they're sending out at the moment, I don't believe are legal. I don't think they've got citizenships. But I haven't looked at it too much. It turns out that that's not true, and that some of them have got citizenships and have had their citizenship stripped. It would have to be just pure racism, I suppose.
Okay, but what if I said to you that let's take it that they are citizens. You know, they came here on the Windrush generation who were asked to come over here to so-called build up the motherland at a time that it was needed. What is the difference in treatment? Why is there a difference in treatment? What is that factor? What is that one point for the reason that they get treated differently?
Well, you can't say theoretically either they are or they ain't treated for that reason. They're not Windrush. These people are not Windrush. Their ages would tell you they're not Windrush.
But that's the excuse that they're using, though. They're saying that these you know.
1 minute, brother. One sec, brother. Just how about
the country in some way, shape, or form?
Brother,
what's the difference? I don't understand how somebody like Rolf Harris can commit a sick crime. He wasn't born here, but we won't hear of him being threatened with any sort of deportation or anything of the like. But
you know what, Buggs? I'm going to bring in Finance One in a second, but do you know what? For me, the Rolf Harris is secondary. For me, it's preposterous that someone like Boris Johnson, who has admitted to using cocaine and cannabis while at Oxford, is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, the person who sold cocaine is being deported. To me, that is abundantly clear. The split between class, race, the whole works. That is preposterous. But yeah, go ahead, Finance Wine.
No, I was just gonna say off the back of what Buggs was saying that what some of these people have their stay, and they're still being deported because they came here, obviously without stay, and then they got stay, and they committed crimes, and then they went to prison, served their time, and they got stripped of their citizenship, and they got deported. So what do you say about that?
If that's true, then I think that Rolf Harris should be on the next plane out of this country.
No, not comparing to Rolf Harris. I'm saying, what would you call that? Because I'm telling you now, someone's got a lot of background. I'm telling you now, that's definitely facts. That some of those people that were deported had their stay, they committed crimes, they went to prison, they got stripped of their citizenship because they were never legally British citizens, and they got deported. So what would you call that?
Citizens, then they haven't been stripped of anything.
Okay, so let me say it again then. So they came here, and they got citizenship. So that means they got indefinite stay to stay into the UK. Yeah. They committed crimes. They went to prison. After prison, they got deported and went back, and their citizenship got taken away. What would you class that? And that's facts. That's just not hearsay or just giving a idea, like a hypothetical question. That's facts.
Yeah, I would say that's correct, but they need to be doing it across the board.
No, but I'm asking, what would you call that? What would you call that? From what I've described to you, what is that?
Justice. They've committed a heinous violent crime, then they deserve what's happened to them.
Let me just add some clarity. The people that were deported on that plane this week, none of them were actually British citizens. And this happens on a regular basis. You get people that go to prison, get convicted, do their time, and get deported. However, en masse, this has not been seen before. There's no mass deportations that has been seen in the UK. To strip someone of their citizenship is a long and drawn out procedure. If we take the example of Shamina Begum, she was stripped of her citizenship, yet she's still trying to contest that and launch appeals. But yeah, go ahead, Buggs. You're back again. I think you.
Sorry, man. I dropped out, man. I don't know what happened. But yes.
Did you hear the bit I was talking about? Did you hear the bit I was talking about Boris Johnson? Did you hear that bit?
I was shocked, bro. I've not known about that, man. I've not known about that. That's just.
Did you know he weren't born in the UK?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that as well. So where was he born? He's born what? America or something?
He was born in New York City, the same place where Donald Trump's from.
Trump, yeah.
Hey, okay, that's a mad thing.
Somebody's got some background. Sorry to disturb. There's some background YouTube or something going on.
Oh,
regular. I think
or news or TV or something.
Yes. Did you hear the bit I was talking about Boris Johnson? Did you hear that? Yeah, they got YouTube on playback. Can everyone mute up if they're not talking? Maybe that will help. Yeah, go ahead, Books.
Is it come back? Is it me?
I think it's quiet for now, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So what I want to know from them, look, I'm Jupiter. I understand in what you say, in the fact that if someone else gets caught or whatever, their treatment should be the same, right? You're saying that treatment should be the same. They should all be deported, as far as you're concerned. If they're not born here, they should all be deported. Now, I understand that. I hear you. Yeah. But what I want to get from you is, why do you think that a certain group of people have been treated different to someone else? What is the difference in that person? What is the difference? Why has that happened? If these people are all citizens and so-called all committed crimes, then why is it that they're only focusing on people in the Windrush generation? And we know those people are from the Caribbean. Yeah. Why are they being targeted and no one else? What is the difference?
If other people are not being sent back, I mean, Buddha says that there are people being sent back all the time, but I take on board also that he did mention that there's a plane load of people this time and you don't see plane loads of others, which is what I have observed as well. I would say that we could say that there's racial connotations to it, but we don't need to jump to that conclusion straight away.
Because what other conclusions?
So what conclusion should we jump to?
Well, right. Does anyone want to let me finish the conversation, or 3 people want to jump at once? But what we could say is that maybe it was corruption, for example, where maybe it's easier to send it to one country than it is to another. But that doesn't make it right. That's equally as disgusting. But it could be down to that rather than colour. But colour at the moment does seem to be sort of like glaringly obvious. I would agree that there does seem to be disparity there.
When you say corruption, can you elaborate on what you mean by corruption? Because I'm trying to work out what corruption would have to do with sending a plane load of people back.
Okay. Well, to go down to a lay girl's level, basically what I'm saying is that maybe they've got some deal with the government in Jamaica that they can't get with other governments to send people back there. Maybe they're paying them.
Just to bring you up to speed with that, there's an allegation that the Jamaican government is being paid by the British government to take.
David Cameron gave £1 million to build a prison in Jamaica when he was in power.
So yeah, that's an allegation that's been put forward. Whether that's true or that can be substantiated at this time, it's not really clear. But John, you've been quiet for a little while. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Rolf Harris, Jimmy Savile, the BBC, institutionalised racism, maybe. I mean, the BBC love paedophiles. They let Jimmy Savile stay in for ages. I didn't even know Rolf Harris wasn't. I don't know if he had his British citizenship, but I would have kicked him out, me. And I'm sure I said that on Twitter, definitely. But the link to the BBC, and the BBC love paedophiles, don't they? And the BBC's run by white dudes at the top. So I would say institutionalized racism. That's why it's happening. You know what I mean? That's why Boris Johnson don't get kicked out. And the Jamaicans.
Would you agree, Jupiter? Would you agree with John's sentiment?
Good on you. Yes, John. Well said.
I don't believe in institutionalized racism. I just believe there's either racism or there's not. I don't believe that it's just institutions all over the country.
Well, do you not believe that companies like Tate and Lyle Sugar Factory, Lloyd's Bank, other huge corporations that have their base or head office in Square Mile, that is central London, do you not believe that they, when they made their money, their millions and millions of pounds from the business of slavery and treating a demographic of people a certain way, do you not believe that they had that there was racism involved in that? And then those companies are still standing today.
When it comes to the Atlantic slavery, and we're going off topic, But when it comes to Atlantic slavery,
it's off topic. I think it is. It's definitely part of it.
I don't believe it was based on colour. I believe it was based on economics and vulnerability, taking advantage of vulnerable people.
But isn't that what the empire has done? Because as you say, they went around the world creating a Commonwealth, which was helping people lesser than the British.
Yeah, but I don't believe it was based on skin colour, because there was Irish slaves before there was African slaves, and they were white.
But I mean, on the scale of what we're talking, and on the ideologies that come along with the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
Do you think the Irish it can be compared to the transatlantic slave trade?
Well, yeah, I think at the end of the day,
so if I go into a bank
and about numbers, if you're saying that the pain is less because there was more people,
not numbers, the institution, Jupiter, not numbers, the institution, the fact that it was part of law, the fact it was part of society, the fact that it was how this society functioned and made money and did business. Yeah.
Right.
So it was actually,
it wasn't racism. It wasn't racism.
It wasn't racism.
No, it was based on taking advantage of the poorest in society.
I think
if that be the case, Jupiter, if you're saying it was based on the poorest in society, why were poor English people, not enslaved in the numbers that Africans were?
Probably because they were being paid to taxi. Effectively, the British were the taxi service.
What? Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
50% of our country that had slaves, the 97% of the British were not slave owners.
No. I'm not asking you that.
Hold on. Most of the money that Britain made from the slave trade was actually ferrying ordered slaves from one port to another, based on Africans themselves selling slaves.
Okay, but that's not the question I asked. The question, maybe I didn't ask it properly. Let me try again. So you're saying that
layman terms, brother,
slavery took place on people that were poor. So I'm saying to you, there were poor people in the UK at that time. Why were they not enslaved?
They were sent to America. There's a good book.
Sorry, hold on, wait. Let me just try and understand it. No, because I need to try and understand what you're saying to me. So you're saying that English people were enslaved and sent to America.
Yes. Yes. Called that they were slaves and they were white. Can you look up the author for me, please, Hector?
Okay. But I again want to go back to the scale and how much.
Yeah, Bugs, I can't let that go. I can't let that go, Bugs. I can't. So you mean to tell me English white people were put in chains, put on ships, and shipped over to America to pick cotton and plant tobacco?
Not in the numbers that the Irish were or the Scottish, but yes. And in fact, there was Dutch and Chinese slaves as well.
Yes, we are aware of that. But I'm asking you specifically, like in England, like Yorkshire or any of those places.
But it happened, yes.
All right. Okay, cool.
Okay,
go ahead, Book. Sorry.
Yeah, I think she's being disingenuous and then trying to find excuses for what history clearly tells everybody in this chat, everybody in the room, everybody who's got some sense of or common sense to understand what this history brought to the world, and that is one of actually making it legal. First of all, dehumanizing a group of people, and then using that dehumanization as a reason and an excuse and a way of using and abusing these people. And to say that other races were treated on the same scale as Africans is just nonsense. And then that other old rhetoric, which is a blatant lie, about Africans selling Africans, yeah,
I didn't have the right to reply.
is not true. Is not true. I've had the contrary from my direct uncles and granduncles who have told me stories, who passed down their information orally and have said clearly that yes, there were people that colluded to a degree. These people that live sort of nomadic type lifestyles out in a stick somewhere, who were part and parcel of this, but not on the scales on which we talk when we try to talk about whole kingdoms or whatever selling their own people into slavery. In fact, it's actually the opposite, which is the truth, which is when they found out and realized what was happening to their brothers and sisters and relatives overseas, that they fought with every fiber of their being and soul to stop these people still taking new people from the motherland. That's the reality.
Right.
All right, cool. Listen, Jupiter, hold on. Yeah, hold on. So, listen, it's like 5 minutes to 10. Jupiter's going to reply, and then I'm going to try and wrap this up if possible. But go ahead, Jupiter.
No, I said, Buddha, I think that can go until 10:30. We can go to 10:30. If that's cool.
Yeah, all right. Well, do you know what? I've got something else I need to be doing. So, if anything, I'm going to wrap up what I need to say in conclusion after Jupiter, and then if anything I've got time, I'll come back.
All right, cool.
Right. There is an independent story in the Independent. I can't remember the date, but you can write in my grandfather, the slave owner. It's written by an African girl that actually was born and raised in Africa, in Nigeria, and she describes her father and all her relatives that were involved in the slave trade, and how they were still enslaving and selling, much to their family's shame, their own people, even after it was outlawed in Britain. That's the first point. The second point is that there were white slaves. There's a book called They Were White and They Were Slaves, The Untold History of the Enslavement of Whites in Earlier. I can't remember their titles just now, but there is a, hold on, let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. And the author's name is Michael A. Hoffman. For anybody that wants to go and look up on that should start you off on your journey. The second and the third thing is, I'm not trying to say that there were as many whites that were sold into slavery as there was black people during the Atlantic slavery. That would be a lie. But what I am saying is that there were some English, there was plenty of Irish, there was a lot of Scottish, and there was a hell of a lot of Africans. Today, as we stand today, we know that enslavement is still going on all around the world. It's been going on for 1400 years, also in the Arabic world. So I think we need to have a bit of balance when we talk about things, actually, because white people were once Barbary slaves as well.
All right, cool. So listen, let me just start off by saying thank you for everyone who's contributed to the show. People in the chat, ping some fire in the chat if you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you're your first time here. Check out Books Vegas. I don't know who else has got channels, but you know. All right, cool. Let me just say a couple of things, and I beg nobody interrupt me. I came here today to try and get an understanding. My understanding was that has been taking place in regards to the mass deportation of our brothers and sisters is racist. I didn't need to come here to know that, but I just came here to clarify. We've heard from people who hold certain prejudices, i.e. people like Jupiter. Even they concede that the actions that have been taking place may have their roots in racism. They didn't go so far, I think John did, but I don't think Jupiter did. They didn't go so far as to say that it's outright racism, but I'll say it. It's outright racism. We've shown and demonstrated how people like Rolf Harris can walk around and do whatever he's doing, committing the most heinous of crimes. He's been out since 2017. Why have we not had a deportation? Why have we not had a stripping of his citizenship? We don't see this, but we see it for our brothers and sisters. So in conclusion, I look at it like this. When I asked what should we do, I'm not asking what should we do because we don't know what to do. I'm clear in my mind what should be done. I'd like to exhaust every single diplomatic resource there is to bring this whole thing to an end. This whole discrimination, this whole racism, this whole repatriation of people that have served their time in an English prison. This needs to stop. There are movements that are, as we speak, looking at these things and trying to make it stop. Both white people and black people working together because they see the injustice and they refuse to let it continue. Meanwhile, we have a joint smoking, cocaine snorting prime minister who is also a foreigner, undersigning these moves to get people deported. I don't want to say too much on my brother's show, but for those who know, innit? The warrior class, the people that won't sit down, the people that stand up, the people that will throw their fist in the air and say, no, it ain't happening. I'm reminded of people like Rosa Parks, and I think my brother Raspek alluded to in his song. When they told her to get up and get to the back of the bus, did she get up and get to the back of the bus? Was she subservient? She stood up as an old lady and said, no. Why? And we have to remember those lessons that were learned by our ancestors, whether they be Rosa Parks, whether they be Martin Luther King, whoever, all of our icons. We can't let their struggle be in vain because they did struggle. They died for us to be where we're at now. And for us to sit back and do nothing is akin to spitting on their graves. By enclosure, big up family. It's always a pleasure. Respect my brother. Bugs, big up. Finest, big up. United is Jupiter. Thank you for coming. And John, thank you for coming. Listen, I'm going to jump. I'm going to come back in a little while. Big up, everyone. Big up, chat.
Yes, family.
Can I just get something in?
Yeah, big up yourself.
1 minute, just 2 seconds. Because Buddha just returned back to the lion. They ain't been there for a while, but you know, all my brothers, that's what I'm saying. You might not see Bugs, you might not see Booney, you might not see Freddie, but them man, they are listening, you know, fam. Yeah, it's just that man, them are grinders, that man are grinding. Man come true when it's time, innit? You know what I'm saying? So big up man like Buddha, you know what I'm saying? Because he came back with a nice piece of ital and all of the family, you get me? From Finest, Bugs, you man know, the family will know anyway. There's a topic, you get me? And holds the ital, especially once Respect Rebellion comes back. But even now on this channel, man's always up for it, you get me? And I think Buddha came with a very current topic, you know what I'm saying? And those words at the ends were powerful still. So yeah, big up Rosa Parks, because she never sat down, you know what I'm saying? And that's why man always stand up. That's why man always stand up. Get me? Yes. She never had it, you know what I'm saying? Because when they told her to sit down at the front, you get me? She sat down when
you said that. You said she never sat down.
Yeah, she never sat down where they wanted her to sit. She sat where she sat where she wanted to sit.
On the bus.
All right, that was smooth, innit? Gang. Anyway, yeah, big up everyone and say, but let me see some fire emojis in the chat for Buddha though, man. Yeah, let me see some fire emojis.
Can John say what he wanted to say? And
So I mean, with this Jamaican thing, I've got a friend. He's married to his English wife, been married a couple of years. He's full Jamaican. His name's Dwight. He's got a son who's 12 now. So he's been here about 15 years. And he's still not got his British citizenship. He's still not got his British citizenship. He's worked since when he could work full time. He's worked at the same job, pays taxes and all that lot. Yet in the country right now, we've got tens of thousands of people who don't even speak English. So why hasn't he got his citizenship when he's a top man, pays his taxes? It absolutely winds me up, and it makes me think that the government have something personal against Jamaicans. It does. It makes me think that he's a really nice guy. He's integrated into his community brilliantly. like I said, he works all the time, and he's still not got his British citizenship, and he has to pay a fee every 6 months or something. Yeah.
John, sorry, I just want to ask you, because you seem to be coming with a really balanced view, and I think some personal aspects to a view that I like to hear from people I think who don't think completely in the same way I do. Do you see it clearly? What do you think of Jupiter, who doesn't seem to see it? You know, because I see your panels together. You do chat. You usually do have some thoughts which are similar. What do you think when you say your friend? You just said that they must have something personal against Jamaicans or something like that. As you said, this is a good guy, and he hasn't got his citizenship yet. What do you think when someone like Jupiter does say that, she doesn't believe there's any institutionalized racism, and there's nothing to really answer for? How does it make you feel knowing that you got a friend who's probably suffering from, you can't put a finger on it, but you suspect it's possibly that? How do you feel about people who just deny it?
I don't know. Like I said, I might not know. I might not be in this position, but like I said, I've got Jamaican family, and he's Jamaican. He's been here relatively 15 years, so it's new. And when I found out, and when he told me, I just couldn't get my head around it, and it made me think that the government have something against Jamaicans. Now, I don't know about Jupiter. She's married to a Nigerian, and but like I said, I'm Jamaican, and this guy's Jamaican, and it just makes me, it's only in these past few years that I've felt like this when I've seen his case. And when I've looked, I've seen other cases similar. So it just makes me feel that the government have something against Jamaicans. I don't know whether we can say it's racism. It might be, but I just don't understand. And I'm trying to learn and research into why it's happening. And when Jupiter, I don't know.
Can I come back and explain myself a little bit? Because this is what annoys me. They tend to read into what I say, John, and maybe it's because I'm not clearly speaking, or maybe it's just because they see my skin and they want to make their own prejudices. Hold on, please let me answer and then come back at me.
But stop lying. I beg you, please stop lying.
Question asked by Buddha to me, and everybody was here, including John, was, do I think that there was any racism involved? And I said yes.
You never actually said yes. You speculated and said it could be.
No, I said yes. You wasn't even here, Finest.
You didn't say yes, Jupiter.
Yes.
You didn't say yes.
I wasn't here. What the fuck? I've been here, bitch. I've been here, motherfucker.
Yeah, you didn't say yes, Jupiter.
Right, you wasn't online. It was just me, Buddha, John, and Aspect at that point in time when that question was asked.
Darling, I've been here. I heard you. If Buddha's in the chat and John, if John's there, you never outright. I'm not here to argue with you because Respect can play it back. John can even say, if he's an honest man, which I think he is, you said it could be, a bit of racism. You never outrightly said yes, like John, it's racism.
We know you're lying.
I don't need to lie on you're dirty, racist, fat bitch anyway, and we all know it. So relax yourself.
Right. Okay. Here we go.
You're gonna leave now. Don't forget to close the door on the way out and put the shoes on.
Don't blaze it up yet, man.
I'm not blazing her, but I'm just interjecting. If you realise when I interject, because I don't really want to talk much to her, I'm interjecting when she's coming with foolishness or non-fact. I interjected with. I'm talking to the panel host. Can you show respect some respect? Can you show respect some respect? The man that invited you's left. The man that invited you's left, so you can leave behind him. The man that invited you's left, so don't get gassed. You was invited by Buddha.
Can I just say something?
Not Respect. So anyway, sorry, brother. Wait 1 second.
My bad.
No. Just so we're all clear.
Get her, my sister. Get her.
No, I'm not here to get her. She already knows what time it is. What I'm saying is, I interjected when Boogs. Oh, shush, man. When Boogs was talking, because she didn't outrightly say like John. Yes, she said. oh, it could be she was given a half-hearted yes answer. So that's why I interjected, because she never outrightly agreed, yes, it was racism. That's all I'm trying to get at. That's it.
And
You know what?
she also denied, and she also denied institutional.
Jupiter, chill out. You've been on your own live stream talking shit about black people for 2 days now. When can we black people fucking
Everyone slow
defend
down.
ourselves?
Everyone slow down, yeah. I can put this into context, yeah. I can put this into context, yeah. I think initially, yeah, she said it's racist, but she said it's racist in the context, and John done the same thing of making examples to some Pakistani Muslims and then saying that's racism. The fact that a Pakistani Muslim is not getting deported is racism. Like, that was the angle. So obviously it came with an agenda. Like, so you lot did say it was racist, but I think Finest Wine's pointing out what the agenda that you had attached to it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, you lot couldn't help it, but it's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's you lot. Like, I think everyone knows the different ideologies by now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
okay, can I reply, please, or do I have to have 6 people talk?
No, you can't, because you've been talking about black people all day. This is what she was saying about black people, brother.
Okay. One thing, one of the reasons why it's an open platform, yeah, and like why man.
I understand.
I mean, Askety, please, bro. Like, because I know you got a machine gun, Askety, so I'm gonna mute everyone and talk, yeah. Yeah, and big up everyone in the place you don't know. But anyway, yeah. Jupiter, where it is, yeah, obviously you have a political agenda in it, and that political agenda is that you think Islam is a threat or taking over us, or a hindrance to something in Britain, basically, yeah. So because of that, now your context of racism was attached to that agenda that you have in it. But for me, I expect it. So but Finest was right to point out that when you say this racism, Islam is a religion and not a race. That's why me and her started laughing. Like, we was genuinely laughing because the religion and race is too. When John Locke...
Hang on. You can look back. I never mentioned what the people were. I said, why aren't they getting deported?
Muslims.
You said Muslims, John. You did.
I
I'm not
Muslim?
even.
Well,
yeah. I'm not. I ain't got a problem with you, mate. You did, and it's fine.
Yeah, but the guy who come on who started it, he asked Jupiter, do you think it's racist? And I said, I think it's racist that they are not getting sent back, but the Jamaicans are.
And that is what the racism is. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter if they're Pakistani or Chinese. It doesn't matter if they're
Are you a racist?
Jupiter,
are you a racist?
Do you understand that he didn't say Pakistanis? He didn't say a race of people. He said a religion. And a religion can have any kind of race. So it wasn't actually applicable when he used it, yeah. But
no, it is applicable, because what he's saying is there's a group of people over there that are made up of many races that are not being kicked out of the country.
Oh, God.
Jamaicans are. Do you not understand that?
Yes, but he should have said an actual, because Jamaicans are it's a country. So he would have had to say people from another country for it to really make political sense. But because he said Muslims, it's like him pointing out some Christians and saying that they're not.
Oh, are you ready for your next show? Because these people are going to take it somewhere it don't need to be, man. We know what Jupiter is. We know what man.
You are. Let Jupiter respond, please, again.
So let me just I've been waiting for time now. And she's just trying to divert everything, you know?
Yeah, let Jupiter respond, I beg you.
Yo, I'm serious, yeah. This show is gonna lock off at 10:30, and then like Finest said, so we only got 20 minutes left. Then we got a next one, but the next one's spicy still. So yeah.
Let Jupiter respond, no brass, please. I beg. Let her carry on, please. Jupiter. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
But can I just add something? She said something about black children.
Askety.
I was just saying,
Askety. You can't hear Books make a specific reclaim as our brother, yeah. And then as soon as Jupiter starts talking, you cut her, bro. That's mad, because it's not just Jupiter. Yeah, if you got a problem with Jupiter, it's Books, innit?
I'm sorry about the Books, man. I'm sorry about the Books.
Yeah, it's all love, Askety. I know you get passionate. I know you get passionate, brother. But I beg, I really want to hear Jupiter's thought process. You understand? And I have some level of respect for her actually being able to speak and express herself. You get me? So I really do want to hear what she has to say. You know, some of the time when it's not insulting and all that business. But with
my
these
bad, my bad. But my bad. But don't remember what she's been saying for the last 2 days. That's all I'm trying to come to, because she thinks she can get away with what she says, isn't it?
Okay.
So carry on, Jupiter.
We know, Jupiter. Trust me. I'm just catching joke like find this vibe and I'm just catching joke.
I know, because it's funny to you.
No, it's funny.
Thank you for having me on.
No, Jupiter. When John said Muslims, it was funny. You know what I'm saying? I can't lie, but I want you to be able to respond. So go on, Jupiter, respond. I think Wendy's coming on now. You got reinforcements.
Oh, really? Maybe I'll come back at 10:30.
I'll
come back at 10:30, bro.
Go on, Jupiter. Respond.
She's gone, man. Jupiter ducked out.
No, she's here, man.
Right, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is that, yes, I can see that emotion, and we'd have to see what is really behind it. However, that doesn't mean that it is not racist. But I don't agree with this institutionalised racism. And the reason that I don't agree with that terminology is because I don't believe the whole country is inherently racist. And if you agree with that term, then you're saying that every single white person who works in an institution is racist because they're going by the racist policies. And I don't agree with that.
It doesn't say that.
But I don't believe in institutionalised racism on a whole in the country.
It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that everybody that works at a certain company, because this company has racist background, doesn't mean that every employee is racist. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that the laws inherited in a country are from a background of racism. Yeah, that's where they were formed. A lot of these laws and how these people have made their money and how these companies have got so large. Excuse me. You see what I'm saying? We're not saying each individual is racist. Far from it. That's not the case, Jupiter. But we do have to accept that something like this Windrush scandal, where it's targeting a certain demographic, we're not talking a religious demographic, we're talking a racial demographic, from a part of the world, and we're saying that is racism, isn't it? We're saying that is racism, and it's coming from the top. And as we well know, a lot of people like to think that people like Braden and other low IQ racists who insult people racially are where racism comes from, but that's incorrect to think that racism comes from the bottom up. Racism actually comes from the top down. That's what we got to understand. And what you're doing here now is denying that fact. You're denying that it comes from the top down. You're denying that it's even part of this society when we know full well history really shows the truth.
I will come back on that.
Doesn't it depend on what they've done? Just because they're from the Windrush generation or relatives of that generation, it depends on what they've done. If they've committed a crime, they've got to be deported, haven't they? So
yeah.
So you're putting it to the crime.
James Goddard's in the chat. I was just on phone to him, and he said he wouldn't mind having a chat with you sometime.
Yeah,
why don't you come on? Would you come on now?
I don't know. He's finishing a stream soon, but I'm sure he'll come on another time.
Yeah. Right now, we're looking this one off in 15 minutes, but yeah, we can line it up anytime, man.
I see in the chat someone wrote, all British institutions,
what does he want to?
Organisations are racial, and I would agree that a lot of the British institutions, especially the top ones, institutionalised racism. Honestly, I totally agree with that.
Does Wendy and Jupiter agree with that?
No, I
don't. No.
Well, I give a good example with the BBC.
Oh, that, yeah, BBC.
I'll give a really good example with the BBC.
They're racist towards white people.
Maybe not all institutions, but if we look back and the guy was saying about the institutions who made money off slavery, that they're still going now and stuff like that. So.
Well, I don't think anyone likes the BBC, do they? I mean,
no.
That's why Rolf Harris, I think, like.
Well, he should. To be honest, I think we should hashtag get rid of Rolf Harris. To be honest, I don't know what he's doing.
Prince Andrew? What about Prince Andrew?
What about him? He's hiding away in Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
He should be exiled.
Yeah.
But he's not been found guilty in the court of law, even though we know he's guilty.
Well, Jupiter, you just said Prince Andrew should be exiled.
Yeah, he should be gone.
Well, I thought you were all quite patriotic, Wendy Wu and Jupiter.
He's a paedophile. He's a paedophile, so there's no excuse.
Paedophilia trumps his royalty, yeah?
Yeah.
Of course it does. What you on about?
No, because I've heard actually people defend him or say the allegations aren't true, even though all the evidence says nothing. You get what I'm saying?
Isn't it? This is what.
And there are people like you. There are people like you who are quite patriotic.
Same. We've all got the same understanding. It's not the truth.
Okay. Well, anyway, Fire Bingy and a panel. Man's got to jump off, man, because I've got to catch some Zeds, man. I've had a long one today still, so I want to big up Finest Wine. Big up yourself, my sister. Don't shoot them down straight away, man.
Oh no, man, they've been dead long time. They died long time, man.
Big up the people on the panel with the opposing views. Big up yourself, John Lawrence. Big up my brother Aspect. Big up all the real ones in the chat. You done know, yeah. Go subscribe to my channel. Now I'm gonna listen in. Whilst I'm chilling out and that. So yeah, enough love to all the family and big up yourself, Bingy, man. Catch up soon. Catch up with you, yeah?
Bless up yourself. Bless up.
Bless up, Bobs. Gang. You don't know. I'm just telling James Goddard that, if you want to have a convo, just email raspberryrebellion@gmail.com. Let me just. And yeah, if you want to, we can line it up still. We can test. We got a difference in ideology, definitely. You know what I'm saying? So we can test the waters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can see. That's if you get me. I think we've had a chat before still. I think once about the tan thing. But it was more Danny Tomo that I spoke to. Yeah, we can test that. We can really test that, James Goddard. You know what I'm saying? We can test that. I think that I can definitely refute you wholeheartedly still. I'm very, very comfortable. Yeah. Like that no man on this planet can support Tommy and say they're not supporting a racist. You get me? Yeah.
What evidence do you have for that?
How about calling Somalis backward barbarians? But we don't even need to go into that right now.
Yeah, when he does the show, you can come back on for that.
Yeah. That was just a little source for you, James Goddard. Wendy gave you a little help up there. You get me? But yeah. But even then, just think of the words you're gonna use to justify that one. But there's much more where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Much more in it. So yeah, but we can test it. You get me? Yeah, you don't support Tommy. All right, cool. Say nothing. But we can test the civic nationalism, then, innit? You get me? What are you on an ethno-nationalist thing now? And Tommy's not a racist. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a good start. We had a good start. You get me? I denounce Tommy. Oh, man's gone ethno. Baba Clark, he's going to the ethno. Okay. I see you. That's even more sauce. I can't believe it. Did you not see that? I told you it's a stepping stone. To the far right.
Well, it had to happen, didn't it? Had to happen.
Hey, I told you it's the stepping stone to the far right. Who told you? We told you.
I told you, Raspberry. I told you.
Yeah, it's about the only thing you've ever got right, because Tommy's not racist, but you still say he is.
Yeah. I know. Calling Somalis backward barbarians isn't racist to you.
That's an opinion. It's not racism. Have you ever, you must know about real racism.
I know it's not, man. I don't want to give any more sauce out because you don't know I've got a long list in it. So that's what I'm saying. Just that debate is done.
No,
what? And he said the P word. That again, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
And the fact he said the P word.
There's a long list. Like,
can I come through really quickly?
Like, anyway, go on.
Can I come through really quickly? Sorry. Just to the gentleman in the hooded jumper. What's your name, sir? Sorry?
John.
John. Nice to meet you, John. Just to pick up on what you said a second ago. So you believe there is evidence of institutional racism in Great Britain, yeah?
Yeah, plenty of evidence. The police, the BBC, and the guy who started the conversation out was saying about other institutions who made money off the slave trade who are still here now. I don't know about these institutions, but they do. I would guess that institutionalized racism is in the top of these kind of institutions. I'd have to do more research, just my opinion, but yeah.
So may I ask, what like briefly as you can, yeah, because I do have to leave in a sec, what your political ideology is or your persuasion?
I would say I'm a civ nut, if anything.
Okay. Is there any political figures you align yourself with, so I can just get a quick understanding of like what kind of represents you?
I like a broad range of political figures. If anything, I might have ended up being a conservative if I wasn't a Labour voter. But I'm 52 years old, and Labour of old were the people who I voted for because it was for the working class. But I don't believe that now. I believe that now I probably would be a conservative.
Mm-hmm. So do you believe, though, then, like quick example, like, do you believe that our Prime Minister speaking disparagingly about minorities is further evidence of what sort of endorses the institutional racism in these institutions? If at the highest level, the highest office in the country, if he has a liberal use of derogatory terms towards minority groups, do you think that maybe somewhat fuels or facilitates the racism?
Probably, but I don't think Boris Johnson should be prime minister. I don't think he makes a good prime minister at all.
But then, may I ask one further question? Sorry, I don't mean to keep to badger you, yeah. But the only time I've ever seen you, I saw you recently on a recording when that Jada Franson was speaking to like a whole host of people, and so do you argue, because there is a divergence, yeah, in political ideologies with you and some of the people you surround yourself with, from what I've seen. So do you have that argument with them? Because if that is a core belief of yours, that there are racist institutions, and you have people that share that are on your side of the fence, if you like, that don't agree with it, as proven just minutes ago when they said, no, you're lying, racist against white people, what have you. Isn't it more important to have that argument with them first before outlining your political allegiance?
Probably, yeah. But when I'm on the FNAT channels, I do ask these questions. I ask, as I'm mixed race, can I be English? And as a mixed race person, can I be a leader in an ethno state?
Yep.
But isn't it more important though? More than that, isn't it more important to say why? I imagine you're not biased, right? You're coming from it from a logical point of view, that you believe that there are racist institutions, yeah, racist against minorities in this country. What would their reason for not believing that? What would be for not believing that? Why would they not believe it? If it's only true, if they only care about their country, why would they not believe that?
Why are you asking him and not us?
Ignorance? But do you think ignorance could be one, John?
Pardon?
Do you think ignorance could be one? Sorry, the vultures are talking over me. I said, would you believe it's in ignorancy that could be one of the reasons why?
Probably, yeah.
But may I ask you a question? If it was not to be ignorance, just for a moment, let's just like speculate, yeah, and say potentially, do you think there could be something more sinister at play?
James, I think there's an interesting question because I saw a video the other day, yeah, and I saw a woman coming up to you, John, yeah, and she was. I think you've already seen it before, yeah. I'm gonna play it for the people, then, and I want you to kind of explain to me why this woman would feel like this about you. So,
right,
as a white woman,
I could tell you right now.
That was racist.
I mean, let's watch the video first, and then you can explain it to us, yeah. The people won't understand what you're explaining.
All right, well, we'll see you on this riot. Whatever. Oh, that was racist. Don't talk to me like that. Joe, sir. Yes, so what?
Oh, nutty lefty.
What's that? Oh, hey.
What?
So,
Very rude.
it was a Tommy MEP tour,
yeah.
And I got a wind of there's like going to be like an anti-protest against racism in Oldham. So I took James Goddard, a couple of Let's Go Here first, and who happened to be there was Deborah Abrams, Jim McManaman, and Julia Rayner, all top Labour MPs. And if you watch the video from beginning to end, we weren't saying anything about Tommy. We were talking about Labour things and what Labour have done and so on and so on. There was no right-wing chant said. There was no right-wing rubbish said or anything like that. The woman I've known all my life, and she's obviously seen a video of me saying something before for her to say that to me, because there was no racism in that video. If you watch it all the way through, we was there against Labour. So she's obviously seen something before. She didn't tell us what it were, and then accused me and saying I'm black.
Someone said in that video that, so 2 points if you don't mind, yeah. Someone said in that video that she was a racist. Do you agree or disagree with that?
By talking about my skin colour, yeah. And I'm not even black, I'm mixed race.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a great point.
You know, and I find it
so do you also believe Tommy Robinson's racist?
Pardon?
Do you also believe that Tommy Robinson is racist?
Well, when you said about the Somalian thing, that was a naughty thing to say.
He's a racist. Naughty racist.
Very racist. But on his whole about Islam, no, I don't think he's
forget Islam. So just so I can understand. So that woman saying you hanging around with racists, yeah, is stupid because you're black, is racist.
Yeah, but what, hanging around with racists like who?
No, I imagine that's what, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. She may be a racist. You know better. You know your whole life. She probably. I'll take your word for it if she's a racist or not. What I'm saying is it's easy for other white people to indict her as a racist, but white people that they follow that use the P word liberally, that refer to people as backward barbarians, they may or may not be racist. That's a bit more cloudy. It's a bit more difficult to decipher whether or not someone just literally stating that I've known your father, and because you're with people that she believes that anti would be against your father, you're racist. And by the way, have you realized you're black? That is clearly racist. That is nailed on racist. Yeah. Do you see it? Do you see a double standard there by any chance?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Then why?
But, you can say everything right. I mean, if you look at some of my videos, I'm just really totally against the left and the Labour Party. I believe there won't be no Tommy Robinson if the Labour Party had dealt with the issues in the first place. Because the rape gangs go back 20 or 30 years. If we would have dealt with them then, we wouldn't have everybody out on the streets campaigning. There won't be a Tommy Robinson. There won't be a Anne-Marie Waters. There won't be a Bob.
But John, don't you think that that enables them, that sort of that covers, if you like, that left and right dynamic, that political spectrum, it covers real racism, and people can reframe their racist arguments as anti-left or anti-right, in the sense that you've got people that will clearly observe racism, that will deny and obfuscate, that will cover for their heroes, clearly, and they'll do it under the guise of being anti-left propaganda, anti-right propaganda. But somebody like you, who I believe is genuine only because you're of mixed heritage, right? and I'm not sure if you claim any allegiance, who's applying logic to each situation. This is racist for X, this is racist for Y, what have you. You're being manipulated then in that instance, because you'd have people that are genuinely against you, but may use you for their argument or for their own end, and under the guise of a political ideology, whereas it's not necessarily political, it's racial. You know, you're a good, like I've heard oftentimes that people can be good servants to an ethno-nationalist cause. But what does that mean for you in actuality?
That's an insult.
That's
yeah,
awful.
it's an insult. Yeah,
it is. But like I said, I always ask the question: can I be a leader? That's one of the things that I ask them, and I don't think they'd have me as a leader. Yeah, and I think that I'd be kicked out like Ralph will be. You know what I mean? But I've got to get it across. I can't understand things until I talk to people, whether they're whatever colour, whatever religion. We have to talk to them. And that's why I'm on these channels sometimes. I take a load of abuse. People don't know me. They give me loads of abuse.
Do you understand why some people call you black, though?
No, because I'm not black. I'm mixed race.
Okay. So, do you understand that, obviously, when you're in this country, they're showing you how you're perceived. She wasn't showing you what you believe. She was showing you what the masses perceive. Because there's black people, John, that are lighter than you. Yeah? Two black mums and dads. 1 minute. They got two black mums and dads. Yeah? And they're fair skinned. Yeah? And this is one of the reasons why you get called black and not white. This is why a racist white person will call you a nigger, yeah, or yeah, but a black person will not call you a cracker. You will not get called a honky unless they're talking not based upon your face. It's more if you say something that is more like they feel like is ideologically more like right wing. Let's say someone might say that you sound like your politics sound like it's more for white people than people of, because even people of mixed heritage are still treated more time as if they are black. Because when the police see you, the police ain't like, unless it's only your mentality that's gonna make the police treat you different. You get me? They see you with a bunch of white lads, they're not gonna stop you, are they? But if you're with a bunch of black lads on the block, then they're gonna treat you all the same, just like a black man. Yeah, cause they don't know no different when they see you. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is one of the reasons why. Yeah. So go on. Who wants
to say? And then, but based on all that, like, you seem really reasonable. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't hear you speak before, so I didn't know how you were gonna react. You seem really reasonable. It becomes illogical now. What is the hill that you're willing to die on? Because if on the one hand, let's say you support Tommy Robinson for anti-grooming, right? But by proxy, he supports generation identity, which are ethno-nationalists. So you can infer from that maybe he supports an ethno-nationalist agenda. That will be far worse for you than any postmodernist lefty agenda. Because you can argue transgenderism, homosexuality, right? But even a far more inclusive policy is more beneficial for the minority than another policy, which you may argue that you, like Ralph and that, we're a humble servant, you know, we will be rewarded, right? We will be given the gifts of glory. But the reality is it's gonna be far worse for you, people that look like you, people that are related to you, your offspring, people that identify with you. It's gonna be far worse for them. So how do you shape, like, you? There must be an element of selfishness in you shaping your political ideology.
You know, like you're saying, like, I live in Oldham, which has been a multicultural town for all my life, and I just don't see that. I don't see as much like they're picking on me because of my colour than I do in other towns in England. I really don't. I don't see it that much in Oldham, and I've always lived and worked around Oldham. I've always had a good job because I've got good skills, not because I'm mixed race or anything, because I've got the skills better than me white friends. I've done a lot better than a lot of them because I went and learned and did my skills. I just don't see it. But when I watch the shows, you say about other places, and when I look at them other places, they're not as multicultural as Oldham. You know, so I just don't see it because I've lived and worked in Oldham all my life. If I'd moved around and lived in other areas, I will see. I'm sure I would see.
But John, what I'm saying is, I'm saying people that follow, yeah, the sort of the path that you're following with regards to your political allegiances, they have ulterior motives, or at least motives separate from you, in that they want to retain a certain percentage of a specific ethnic demographic in this country, so on and so forth. So how then someone like you who observes, like, reduce it down to the simplest point, you observe systemic racism in this country, they flat out deny it. They go so far as to say it's actually racist towards white people, which is clearly, as far as we're both concerned, a lie. So how could you and I share the same political ideology as them if their ultimate intention is to retain a specific demographic, and you and I, as civic nationalists, we don't care, we just want this country to prosper? How can we share the same political ideology? It makes no sense to me. Explain it, please.
I don't know. I don't know. And you said, like, racism against white people. Do you believe there is racism against white people?
I believe there is racism, yeah, and it stops there. I believe there is racism. I believe if you point out racism, I will call out racism. If there is a group that is being selective with their racism, they only see it for their own group and they see it for nobody else, then those people do not mean my group any no good. They only mean my group harm.
Good, get out, James.
Hold on. It's evidence with the rhetoric that comes out of that camp. There is a reason why right-wing ideology is branded as racist. It's not. Listen, it's not supernatural. Yeah, there is a reason why. There is evidence to support that. And unfortunately, for gentlemen like you that are clearly disenfranchised with Labour, you feel like you have nowhere else to go, and all you have to go is the right wing. But in my opinion, you don't, because aligning yourself with races, unfortunately, by proxy, makes you a racist. So you're
an idiot, James.
You've spoken for us several times now, and I'm getting a bit of
the most important discussion.
You're allowing him to make statements that are sweet on me.
Okay. The most important discussion an intelligent man like yourself needs to have is within the group that represents you.
He does. Yeah. We have deep conversations.
Well, I'm sure he does, James, many times. Yeah.
So the most important discussion that you would have is, why do your allies, for lack of a better word, racism that affects you?
Asking John.
What is their reasoning for not seeing the racism that affects you? How can you represent their political ideology and they don't represent yours?
Sound, John.
John, you're muted. Sorry. It's like I said, it's just different. Oldham has always been multicultural, and I don't see racism like there is racism in other places. I just don't see it like that in Oldham. Like I said, it's very multicultural, and I've always lived and worked around Oldham, but I'm sure that I would be thinking differently if I lived in another area or another city. But I'm exploring things. I go on the FNAT channels, I talk to people. They're not all ethno-nationalists, and not everyone's a racist who follows whoever. You know, it's just not like that. And we should be more coming together and working together and bringing our communities together to get on better. But in England right now, we're so divided, and lots of people coming here now are not integrating, and it's just causing problems across the board. Again, if the Labour Party had dealt with a lot of their issues back in the days, we probably won't be on a stream like this now. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about what you said.
John, you do know the national anthem, don't you, love?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, of course you do, John. That's the difference between you and James, yeah.
And like someone mentioned, the flag I've got behind me. I was born and raised in England with Church of England values. I haven't even been to Jamaica yet. Some of my other family members have. So if anyone can pick what gender they are and can be whoever they are, then I can pick whether I'm English or not.
Yeah, you are English as far as I'm concerned. You have English 22 generations worth, and you're culturally raised as English. You are as English as they come.
And I've called out racism when I was younger. I've had fights with people over racism. But the racism these days isn't like it used to be. Back in the days, it was skinheads walking around with Nazi tattoos on and all that. Now, I think the racists are a very tiny minority. I think they're a very tiny minority. I don't think, and like the left, they accuse you of racism if you just look at someone wrong. That's not right. That's not racism.
No.
Yeah. Just take, for example, the other night, John, I want to ask you, if I don't know if you saw it, but seeing as Wendy's on here, how did you feel the other night, Wendy, when you had someone telling you that his grandchildren were going to whip white people, and when you called him Toby, they wanted to call you out for your indirect racism as they saw it, but they weren't prepared to call out the person for the direct racism. John, do you think that's fair?
No.
Yeah, I had someone telling me that my grandchildren were going to get whipped, even beheaded, and even attacked by the IRA.
Why did they say that about your
Because he wanted to say that, yeah?
Oh,
for no reason. For no reason he said that. No reason at all he said that. And I hit back, and that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm sick of people thinking they can go around saying just what they want to people like me.
Oh, like you in Jupiter.
Well, look, I'm not talking to you, yeah? So
hang on. We've got James Goddard in the chat.
Yeah, you've got your father's in the
Hello, James.
Hello, James. By the way, James, I don't know you. Hi, nice to meet you. But these two women are absolutely disgusting. So
yeah.
I have.
Yo, big up Fidus. That's my sister Fiery Fidus still. What we need one space card. James Jones is in the back still. So
I can hardly let me come out and come back in. This is
no, you're cool.
Oh.
All
right.
So yeah, Wendy, Jupiter, John, one of
No, it has to be Wendy. It has to be Wendy. She's the
Why
most
does it have to be me?
She's the most retarded on the panel. It has to be. It's
because I'm going to call you all out, isn't it? That's why.
No, it's not that, Wendy. But obviously,
well, put me in the back chat. I'll wait my turn. Yeah.
All right, cool. Say that.
Jupiter, you're a close second, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well done, James.
James Goddard.
Right, I can hear you now. Can you hear me okay?
Right.
Yeah.
First of all, tell everyone what draconian fucking things the police are doing to you.
Yo, 1 minute, yeah. Let me just quickly, guys. It's 10:45. I was meant to lock off at 10:30, but we can have a discussion for like extended for like 15 minutes, yeah. Obviously, and then we'll line it up properly, James. You know, like that, so we can really get into it. Yeah. I got something else that I got to deal with as well. But yeah, big up everyone in the place. Big up the 69 likes. Yeah, and big up the panel. You get me? This one's gonna be saucy. This one's ital saucy. Go on, James. Go through.
Right, so how long we got? We've got about 10 minutes, yeah?
We've got about 20 minutes. We'll see how it goes, but 15 minutes is but go through. But we'll make sure we line it up, you know what I'm saying? So the people know they can come back and have, you get me, the full James Goddard respect, and we'll have like a couple other people. Or I think really the best way
Hold on. I'm not I'm not I don't even know Ralph. I've been on a stream with him once, so I don't know where that's come from.
I didn't say Ralph.
On.
I didn't say Ralph. I said it would be good if we start off the stream, me and you discussing something, and then we can bring in a panel later or something. But yeah. Go through.
Hey, to make it simpler, James, is there anything any contention you have from listening to whatever you've listened to, and you wanted to jump on and rectify or whatever? Is there any position you have on?
Well, no, it's this whole talk about racism. It just seems to be like we only ever seem to focus on racism towards the black community. You know, we're not talking about disadvantaged white boys that are the most underrepresented group when it comes to university places. We're not talking about Stormzy's racist black-only scholarship program. Instead, we want to focus on, you know, institutional racism
Look,
from
can I
white
ask you a
people.
question?
Wait, James. Let him finish. Let him finish, James.
James, you have to let him finish. You have to. You get me? You know, it's Lions Den, and they have to give their point, and we have to hear it in its fullness to respond. Don't get it twisted. I definitely have contention with everything he said, just like you, James. You know.
Yeah, we all do. We all do.
But he has to be given the privilege to put out his point to the fullness. You get me, Carl? I don't want a man to say he was getting cut or died.
Is that white privilege, bro?
Yeah. Go to James. Finish your point.
Right. So we were talking about racism, and we've mentioned Stormzy's black only scholarship program, and that's fine. You know, if he wants to spend his money on doing that, that's absolutely fine. But then at the same time, we're not looking at, you know, racism directed towards white people, towards white children that are being groomed and raped. You know, that's racism. That is real racism. I'm not denying that racism doesn't exist towards the black community, but I feel that we need to get out of this victimhood mentality. We need to get out of this, you know, slavery mentality, because no one alive today has been affected by slavery. It was bad, it was abhorrent, and it shouldn't have happened. But at the same time, if we're gonna demonize white people for slavery, then we need to demonize the Muslim population for slavery as well, because that's still ongoing. There's so much we could talk about. I think it'd probably do it justice if we did have obviously a lot longer than 15 to 20 minutes. So I don't think you're too bad, Respect. I've watched your videos. I actually think you're quite funny. Not too sure on the Nation of Islam stuff. That's the only thing that I think's let you down. But other than that, I wouldn't mind getting your opinions on a few other things, especially the stuff about Tommy Robinson being a racist as well, because I'm not keen on Tommy Robinson or Britain First. I can't stand either of them. But Tommy's definitely not a racist. 100%, he is not racist.
Yeah.
Could I ask you, because we can't go delving into it, and I'm so happy that you have actually agreed to come back on another day to just dedicate the whole show to all, so you can dissect the topic properly. But just because we've only got a few minutes, would you mind to just give a brief description of why you would say your idea, you feel that Tommy Robinson isn't a racist? What makes you say that?
And then after that, I really want to quickly divulge his point. So just quickly, actually, let me do it quickly.
No, divulge his point then. Fuck what I said. I can hear it another day.
No, 100%. No, going straight to that question next. That's the best question, Finest Wife.
Hold on. Hey, Russ, just
no, James, wait. Wait, James.
I'm asking Respect a question. What your issue is his reverse racism allegation, yeah? That was the point you want to focus on, yeah?
No, I don't even want to focus on it. I want us to go to Finest Wine's question, ASAP. But I just want to quickly say that Stormzy, is individual, one out of one of the few to do what he done from where he comes from, And there's this plea that, you know, black people haven't got. There's this issue of knife crime in the black community, and the ethno-nationalists will say, look at this issue with knife crime in the black community. They've really got to sort it out. And then when one of the youths that was actually affected by this same problem, because we're the ones affected, not you, tries to do something to change that problem and say to the youths, them, don't go and do knife crime, don't go and sell drugs. Instead, go to university. And I know it's hard, so I'm going to give the opportunity for them youths there, because the system isn't doing it. And you don't want the black people complaining about institutionalized racism, that the system's not sorting it out. So when we do it as a community, in a community effort, or one of us manages to get to a place of success and does it for the rest, there's this big allegation of racism. It's complete foolishness, in my opinion. My second point is pertaining to what's your next point, James Goddard?
Focus on reverse racism. He said white boy.
There's
white
not enough time for that. There's not enough time for that.
No, but quickly, all right, then give me one sentence then.
Let him answer what I said, though.
But they're a this is a statement. It's ain't a question. He ain't gonna respond. They are a minority, because of them underachieving. So if in this country 80% or upwards of 80+% is white in this country, and there is a minority underachieving, they are the minority of underachievers, for example, right? They're not. That isn't directly related to their race. Whereas what the argument with racism corresponding to like low unemployment, overrepresentation in the prison systems, what have you, is directly related to the race. So the argument is the reason I'm unsuccessful is because I am black. For example, whether you accept it or not, if someone's white and saying I'm unsuccessful, you cannot argue the reason I'm unsuccessful is because I'm white. If the majority of executive positions in this country are from white people,
well, why can you do the same for if you're black? That's it.
Because they are underrepresented in all of the metrics of success and overrepresented in all of the underprivileged.
You're missing the point. The young disadvantaged.
Shush, Jupiter.
Oh, you should.
No, we need to hear from the gentleman. Can you let the gentleman speak, please? Because I really want to hear what he has to say.
Well, then you be quiet.
Sorry, she can't help herself. Carry on.
Go on, James.
Right. So disadvantage. Right. So the point is right. The point I'm making is there's not. I don't even think it's about skin color personally. I think it's a class issue. But if we're talking about disadvantaged children, right?
So then you debunk your own point then.
All wait, just please let me finish. Yeah?
So how can we
have
rate
to talk about all disadvantaged children, whether they're white, black, or brown. It doesn't matter. But if people like you guys want to keep focusing on this issue of everything's racist, black people are being targeted because this is a racist country, right? You can't keep going down that because you're the ones that are causing the problems. I'm called racist daily, right? I don't give a shit about someone's skin color. I'm not bothered, right? But what I am concerned about is people's ideas.
Can you defend your point, James?
Which I think is one of the most important things. But at the same time, that our country has gone that downhill. We can't say certain things without a fear of being called racist.
I know, but James, before you go on a tangent, can you just defend your point then? So you're saying it's racist because white children are underachieving, and now you're saying it's a class issue. So is it a race issue?
No, I'm not saying it's racist. What I'm saying is white boys, working class white boys are the least represented group, right, at university places, right? So there's obviously something that's going wrong, and what I'm trying to basically say is that all we hear all the time is white privilege this and white privilege that. Where's the white privilege?
Okay, but no one said anything about white privilege.
We said single parent family. I haven't got any white.
We didn't say white privilege. Man. That's an argument. That's an argument you're having in isolation.
No, what privilege? I'm asking you. What privilege have I got as a white man? What privilege have I had?
For a moment, that's an argument.
What have I had?
But wait. That's an argument in isolation. Yeah, that's an argument in isolation.
Yeah, I'm asking you. You say that white privilege.
Listen.
So tell me. I'm asking you as a white male.
I know, but
as a working class white male,
okay, if you listen,
privilege do I have?
If you listen, that's not. I asked you what your bone of contention was, and you said no. I'll give you another example of racism that doesn't affect the black community, and it's working class white lads. I gave you cause to believe that wasn't the case because in actuality, white people are also overrepresented in all of the by all metrics of success. So arguably, it's not just white people. It's not white people that you believe are being oppressed in this scenario. It's working class young white men, as far as you're concerned. That was your argument, right? White privilege never came into. Listen. I'm making
don't let anyone else finish.
All right, but white privilege didn't come into the conversation. That's an argument you're having by yourself, yeah. We're saying but listen to what I'm saying.
I really do pity people, man.
What I'm saying though, if certain people are being oppressed because of their skin color, that's racism. If some people are being oppressed
in this country
because of their social class,
who's being oppressed? Tell me who in this country right now is being oppressed.
Yeah. All right. So black people are overrepresented. Hold on.
James Jones and James Goddard.
Sorry, respect, sir. Carry on.
No, it's a good lineup. And like I'm saying, James, what is your email?
My email.
Or do you want to send me
your email? I'll drop you an email.
Yeah, respectrebellion@gmail.com. So you see my website on the screen, Respect Rebellion. It's just that @gmail.com. Send me an email now, just so you don't forget. Yeah, and we'll line up a big conversation. I'm gonna give this one another 10, 15. I know finance is gonna.
Well, I'm gonna have to shoot anyway, mate. I only quickly came on because I wanted to get your attention for a debate. So.
No, but James, you know why? I think I'm gonna give it another 10, 15 because I do think there's a point that needs to be ironed out here. And I think what James is trying to do is he's trying to differentiate between classism and racism because they're two different things. Yeah. So yes, there are white children that are facing classism and being oppressed because of their class. Yeah. But when you're oppressed because of your class, James Goddard, you can give an illusion of your class. So you could be treated different because you're given an illusion that you do have money. Yeah. Another thing you can do is your class position can change. You can go from poor to rich. You know what I'm saying? You can inherit wealth. You know what I'm saying? So even if you're oppressed on your class, that can actually change. But if you're oppressed on matters of your race, not only can you not give an illusion of your race, you can't go out and pretend that you're white. Do you know what I'm saying? Your race will never change. So it's an oppression that is a lifelong oppression, whereas the other one is circumstantial. This is the differentiation that James is trying to make. So what he's saying is a black person can be facing racism, and classism, whereas these white youth are just going to be dealing with classism. And I'm against.
Russ, the definition is simple. Of he asked for evidence. If and I said metrics, but it was too vague. But let's say stop and search, arrest, conviction, expulsion, unemployment. If what is your answer, James? Yeah, quickly. What is your answer to why black people are overrepresented in every single one of those categories? So why are they stopped more? Why are they expelled more? Why are they arrested more? Why are they convicted more? Why are their sentences longer? Why are they unemployed more? Why is there a wealth divide? Why are they explain that? Why?
Why is there a wealth divide? Yeah. Why? Right, let's go.
No, but why?
So
no,
why
but
are they stopped and searched more? I don't know. I don't really know. Could it be anything to do with drill videos? Could it be anything to do with gang culture and violent crime in London? Are we talking about? Are they being stopped and searched more in London, or is it all over the country? Because I get stopped by the police all the time, and it's nothing to do with my skin color.
But no, but listen, we just look at the raw data, yeah? Just look at the cold facts, though. In the cold facts, in every single one of those, black people, so the defining quality here is black, not working class, none of that, nothing to do with their class, nothing to do with their education. Black is the defining quality. Why is that the case? And if you don't know the answer, which I respect, yeah, it's honest, is it not fair for them to say then, ooh, based on the data, it looks like we're being targeted because we're black? James, is that a fair assertion?
I don't think he can hear you.
His mic's gone a bit.
Jimmy.
So can we not? I don't hear is we be racist? Can somebody be racist against a white person?
I mean, I would argue, yeah, but that isn't the contention. The contention is he said, yeah, that he said, no, there's racism, there's equal racism. I feel like he debunked himself by saying it's a class issue. Fine, we can move on from that. Then he talked about white privilege. No one's making that case here. And then we asked, and then he said there's no evidence to support black people saying that there's racism, there's systemic or racism that they face, right? So I've given him all of these examples and asking him to explain it away then. All right, fine. Maybe he's right and I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. So why? Why if the defining quality with all those statistics is black? Why is it black people that are facing all of these issues? You can go to the statistics on gov.co.uk, James. He chipped, yeah. I had to leave as well still, to be honest. I'm fucked. But yeah, I had to stay for this one. This was a good one, Russ. Yeah, you can go gov.co.uk statistics. I'm gonna send them all to Russ, and when you two have your debate, he can let you review the evidence. I mean, if you care so much, yeah, if you honestly, if you cared so much, James, and you wanted to debunk people, all you'd have to do is go look at the statistics and prove it. But the fact that you wouldn't even attempt me, you probably know.
James, so do you know any statistics about London, about how many, let's say, how many white people are in London other than people of colour? What do you know any kind of statistics like that?
Say it again one more time, brother.
In London, yeah. How many white people is there and how many people of colour is there? Do you know any statistics like that?
I imagine it'd be less than 20%. Let me look. People of color, sorry. So not just black.
Not just black, yeah.
Okay. I can just Google it for you now. London. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not great. Wiki. Racial ethnic diversity. Gov UK. Ethnicity statistics. Is that for London now?
Because if there is more white people in London, then logic,
so 44.9% are white British, 14% are white other, 13% are black, and 18% are Asian, and 5% are mixed. So 18.
Right. So
36, about 36.8% are, if you like, for lack of a better word, coloured, and the remainder would be white.
Right. So now you said them statistics. So there's more white people in London. Then you would think there'd be more white people stopped and searched, wouldn't you?
That's where the overrepresentation comes.
Obviously, yeah. I understand that. So I didn't know the figures until you given them then. So I would say logically, I would say that black people are being picked on more for stop and search. That's what I would say logically, off the kind of figures you give me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's obviously unfair, yeah, because they're being picked on obviously more than the majority white community. That's what I would think.
It goes crazy. Hold on. So main facts and figures, yeah. I'm not even going deep into it. This is the gov.co.uk, right? There were 600 black people were over 3 times as likely to be arrested as white people. That's nationwide, yeah. There were 35 arrests for every 1,000 black people and 10 arrests for every 1,000 white people.
Yo, quickly. Obviously, it was meant to lock up at 11. Yo, Finest, are you there? My battery dead. But I just put it on. Yeah, my battery dead. So I was talking for Finest dead and the battery dead. But yeah, basically, the show that we had lined up, we're gonna go into like marriage documents and see what go on, because people are pointing a lot of fingers and speculation. So we want to look at the facts. No, it's serious, bruv. You know, when people are putting speculation, yeah, and they've said it's speculation, I just want to deal with the facts that would have led to the 80 lashes. Yeah. So end of the day, yeah, man is going to go into the facts. You know what I'm saying? And man was meant to do that tonight, but obviously Faz has still got a thing going on, and it's gonna be a line. I'm gonna link it up with Faz, because obviously Faz has got a lot of the information, and it's best that them man deal with the thing. You get me? But yeah, so that's gonna be tomorrow. But it's good because people try to say, you know, we need pasta, and this is a very, very good show. A lot of people tuning in. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up everyone that's like the show. And there's no pasta, straight ITAL conversation. And it was good to have James Goddard on, because I think he articulates these lots points much more fervently for man to respond to. You get me? Hopefully, he didn't get scared off. You get me? And I received that.
No, he didn't get scared off, Respect. He wasn't allowed to reply because James wouldn't shut up.
No. All right, cool. Well, I think
unfortunately, that's on
let me be as unbiased as I possibly can be. I do think, James, and I'm being honest, I do think, that you should give these more. I think because people know our political anyway, I think we should give these man more time to speak, and the reason why that is because these lot are going to run to that as an excuse. You get me? And that's what I said in the early times. That's why I didn't really cut James. I just let him say what he was saying. You get me? And grit my teeth, you know what I'm saying? And responded. Even with the Stormzy thing, that's exactly how man done it. And I feel like that but I do feel like a lot of the questions that James was asking is because when James Goddard was answering the questions, he wasn't really answering the question that James was actually asking. So that can be irritable. But I think just to be safe, James, I think we should let them do that. Point out that they didn't answer the question and then reaffirm the question again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I fully agree. I'm not. Listen, my debate tactics aren't refined. When he didn't know what to say, like you were like, "Yo, speak your mind," and he was lost words. I said, okay, what did you hear that made you want to jump on in the first place? He said, racism. He said, I disagree. He said, there is more racism. No one spoke. He said, this is another example of racism. I probed that slightly, slightest probe. I just said, how?
Yeah, but James, you just rambled on. You need to give him time to answer.
So I probed him slightly. His response to that was, it's a class issue.
James,
I said,
he's not going to get all done in by you. Yeah, you just didn't give him time to answer.
I beg your silence, sir. I beg your silence, sir. So then he said the class issue thing, yeah, and then I said, all right, cool. That's not an example of racism. Then he went to white privilege, which, like, to be honest, that's when I spoke over him. I should have shut my mouth. Yeah. And I said, that's not what we asked you. That's not what anybody else. That's a straw man. But then he said in that, provide evidence for black racism. Hold on. Then he said, provide evidence for black racism. I said, all right, cool. So if I was to give you these statistics, is it now fair for us to carry on making that claim? He went silent and did.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I'm.
WhatsApp.
My battery died. It's just turning on now.
All right.
I don't know what I was supposed to do in that instance, because man basically said, I'm not going to give you a reason why I'm against racism. I'm just against it. It doesn't exist. I said, all right, is this an example of it existing? And he ran away.
He didn't run away. He didn't run away.
We've had the answers to it. Exactly the same answers offered me and Wendy. We've told you about the white.
Are you not dumb? I'm not trying to speak to you. I beg you, like, don't speak to me. Speak to someone else. Don't talk to me.
No, James. You wouldn't let him answer.
I'm not going to debate with other people. That's ridiculous.
Well, I'm sorry, everyone in the chat, that I didn't give him a chance. I definitely take that on the chin. If I apologize, Ras, everyone, if I didn't give him a chance. I honestly thought I was just trying to steer it in the right direction, but yeah, I can be verbose at times. So I apologize if I scared him off.
You didn't scare him off.
But you know what is?
We can all agree, right? These figures might indicate that there could be some discrimination.
Anyway, John, it's a pleasure to meet you. Yeah? Big up Final Swine, big up Lions. Then again, a pleasure, John. Yeah, have a good night.
Bless up yourself.
Good night.
Yeah, get your coat.
What I was going to say.
John, I want to finish the point, John. I want to finish the point. So the bottom line is, we can all agree that it might point to discrimination, but the difference is between what we do about it. People like Raspect and people on the left will say, right, what we need to do is stop and search. I don't agree with that. What I would say is, no, we need to stop more white youth then. So it's a difference in the approach of how do we solve the problem, because getting rid of stop and search clearly doesn't work. The violence has increased.
The violence has increased because it was stopped.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I asked him about the figures about how many black people, etc., live in London. And it looks like they are overrepresented on their stop and search. Is that the only reason they're overrepresented on stop and search? Is because, you know, like, it's racism? Nobody talks about what other reasons there might be, such as breakdown in families, the kids not having community together, going into crime, because of poor, you know, they live in a poor area.
Yeah, economic factors.
Yeah, well, they're put in an area where they're all black people and they're all poor or whatever. Doesn't that ever come into the equation? I can tell you in Oldham, we have 4 areas in Oldham. And out of the top 10 areas in the country for poverty, these 4 of them are in Oldham, topped only by Tower Hamlets in London. And the areas in question are dominated by immigrants. And most of the people in these areas don't work. So straight away, when a family goes into that area, they're going to be in the poor bracket. That's happening right now. No one really talks about that. They don't say it. I'll get the figures and I'll show them you next time we're on the show. I'll put links in the chat or whatever. I'll show you the figures. And so they're all classed as poor. And these 4 areas, like I said, are dominated by, I'll say they're dominated by Muslims, Pakistani and Bengali. And one of the areas is Eastern European area. Why they like that? Why they're not all working? If they all worked, maybe there'd be better communities, there'd be less poverty and stuff like that. Labour in Oldham just seem to think that it's just okay to bring everyone in, but it's causing poverty every time they bring someone in.
Of course, yeah.
The latest poverty run is Eastern Europeans in Oldham. That's what it is, because just bringing them in by the bucket loads, shoving them all in the same area, and it's just causing massive poverty issues. So stop and search, is it just racism?
Yo, sorry, I don't know what happened there, yeah, but my thing froze. TITN, your devices didn't connect. If that was you that tried to join, did James Jones leave? Is he gone?
Yeah, he's gone to bed.
I think it's the environment. I do understand. Other than John's exempt from that.
You having a laugh?
What do you mean, Jupiter?
I was just trying to say the environment, as in us, when actually she's the only one being rude and cutting over people.
Yo, Dan, I don't know why your device isn't connecting, cuz. It just says device is not connected. I can't actually click the thing and let you in. It's not allowing me. Try one more time, cuz. Yeah, well, you know, like that man was polite. Man tried to moderate between them the best of my ability. I did tell
you
Jake.
were fine. No, you were good. Yeah, you were fine.
If he does want to do a debate, I think it will be better if it starts out as just me and him, so I can give him all the space to make his points. He gives me all the space to make my points, and then maybe we'll bring on a panel, and probably even be selective with the panel. Yeah. So, well, you can't come on another device, Dan. Use another device, bro. Use your phone or something if you're on your computer. Yeah, but yeah, big up everyone in the place. Yeah. So where are we at with the debate right now? Where are we at?
What causes the police to stop and search more black youths than white youths?
Yeah.
And why do black youths get into so much trouble and gangs and things? Yeah. And we were looking at, is it the environment they're surrounded in?
Yeah, well, I think we can definitely see a correlation.
Yeah.
Between,
more involved in life crime.
Yeah, we can definitely see a correlation between. Someone's got background noise. I'm gonna mute everyone. Yeah, we can definitely see a correlation between the. Yeah, that's better still. So, sorry, you lot. I beg you keep your mic on mute. No, I'm not even just trying to mute everyone for no reason. Like the sound was much better when everyone was muted still. So I'll mute my mic when I'm not speaking as well. So yeah, let's go. And there's definitely a correlation between the rise in knife crime, especially proceeded to the black community, and youth clubs being shut down, youth services being shut down. Yeah, there's a definite correlation, and there's definitely studies that show that stop and search. There's no correlation between stop and search and it stopping knife crime. So I think the main thing that I have assessed in all of my time within gang, sitting down in the mayor's office with Sadiq Khan and all of these people in City Hall, yeah, the main thing that I definitely know is they're putting 3 million towards police and stop and search, and they're taking away from the youth clubs. If they just take 1 million of that 3 million, invest it into the youth clubs, yeah, then you're gonna see and opportunities like what Stormzy done, which James Goddard called racist. Yeah, then you're gonna see if all of the artists was to do that in the community, you'd see a straight decline in knife crime in the community. You know what I'm saying? And I say it's institutionalized racism that allows that to happen.
Respect, you know how you were saying about youth clubs being closed down. So I'm 52 years old, mate, and back in the day, our little area had a tenants association. So I was given a few quid off the council. We had a cabin in our local car park, and they let us do things. They let the parents get together and take the kids out and stuff like that. We don't have any of these tenants associations, not like for a very small community or just a couple of streets. We don't have them now. And I'll have to agree with you on there that they are shutting down youth clubs and stuff like that more than other things. And they've done that a lot in Oldham. You know what I mean? And I know this because I've seen the facts, and as growing up, I've seen these. So again, coming back to the community and things like that and community cohesion, if we had more of these tenants associations, if we had decent youth clubs and things like that, I think we would get people off the street. Also, knife crime across the country is on the rise, and it's not just one particular demographic. There's white lads. I was supposed to yesterday interview a white lad who got stabbed by another white lad, and I fucking forgot. But no, honestly, it's the statistics will show that they'll show that rise in knife crime, and they'll show that it's across the board. It's not in London. It might look like it's only black people, but across the country, it's everybody. It's every colour of person. But
sorry to cut in, John, but can I just quickly ask Respect, because I mean I've tried to have a truce with Respect, and Respect as another black man is saying that he doesn't want to have a truce with me. So could you explain live on air why you don't want to have a truce with me, Respect?
Right now the discussion is different, but I can give you a brief answer.
No, this is perfect for the discussion. This is perfect for the discussion.
No, it's actually not. You get me?
It actually is, because
all right. So I said, when you gave your fake apology, I said I 85% believe that it was sincere. 85. Then I saw this whole righteousness campaign, mocking righteousness and pretending as if you man are on some righteous thing, and turning it into a joke. And I clocked onto it. That took it up to about 90. When you came on the other day, took it up, especially you still not being sincere enough.
Stop stuttering, man. Stop stuttering. Just spit it out and get it out.
Shut your mouth.
Just get it out, man.
Yo, shut your mouth. Yeah. All right. Run. I ain't even got it on this computer. Oh yeah. Cause this is the new computer still, but I ain't even actually. I have got it. I got my emails. 1 minute. We can get back on. We got the real bouncy. You see the fake, the rat. Cause obviously these things boring. You get me? So obviously that's why man find himself over here. You get me? And yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Only way he can do his thing has to have respect in the title. You get me? But man can talk about anything on here. You get me? Big up TITN in the place. You get me? And yeah, sorry you lot.
Big up yourself, man. Big up. If I could, what happened there? I just checked on Reels. He's got 19 people watching. I'm thinking, what's he doing over here? Then it's becoming a little bit more see-through, a little bit more transparent. But yeah.
Basically, the other day I was busting some joke when I told Waleed that he could hold something. You get me? In his belly. You get me? And this is in self-defense, obviously. And you know, it's a punch right to your abs. You get me? So when I said that now. He started talking about, does that mean he wants to have sexual because these men are gay. They're all gay on that channel. They're all gay. All of them are suspect. So he's like, and he knew about that gay site. You get me? He knew about that. That grind.
You know, right. So let me just point out. You do realize this show is slipping from ITAL to something else. You know who caused that? You know who caused that, innit?
All right. You get me?
Right. What have I missed? I just went away for 2 seconds.
Yeah, Rowan came on, fam. But obviously,
how quick was that?
I know, they can't run, devil man, run. You know what it is.
He came on and said what?
Like, obviously, the other day he was talking about. I'm gonna just quickly. I even want to go into it because I'm gonna do a new. I don't want to go into it too much, but because this is the ITAL show, yeah. But
can I just address what you said, Respect, about everyone on that panel being gay?
Sorry, 1 sec, Wendy. Please let me just hear what he came on and said, because I missed it. I went away for a few moments.
He came on, asked why. Obviously, I said the truce is over. You get me?
Like, what? Why is what?
He gave an apology the other day, innit? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So obviously, I said I'm 85%. I'm 80%. At 80%, at 80% don't think it's sincere, but I'm gonna wait till I'm 100%. Yeah. Till I write you off.
Yeah,
You know
I remember that. I was
yeah.
on the show. Yeah.
So then there was a next 5% was added to that when he's doing this righteousness thing, innit? Oh, right. So 5%, 10%, it's mocking to me. You get me? But at the same time, I left that reasonable doubt. And then the other day, he's saying, "Oh, does Respect want to have sexual relationships with Waleed? Is that what he means by putting something in his belly?" Like, and then, yeah, that was just 100, like that. And then I realized these man, all they think about, like when you clock them, there's always something up there, but
it's always gay.
Yeah, it's always something mad.
No.
You'll never hear that over here, Wendy. I swear, I'm not lying. You'll never hear us like joking like that or like obsessed with that sort of stuff. They're really obsessed with it. Real talk, it's unhealthy still.
Well, I don't talk about things like that.
No, but
so he came to say that, but I'm so peed off that I missed him because I'm so surprised that I thought he wasn't doing his righteous stuff anymore, considering his shows are not righteous. I've heard a lot of slander coming from his shows of late, and a lot of unrighteous things being said about other people on his shows, and
Okay.
What did he actually say?
You wanted to know why why the truth wasn't still being held. Yeah.
Oh my God! What truth? What is this, man? Anyway, look.
What is the truth? What truth?
Not truth. Not truth. Truth.
Truth.
Oh, the truth
between Respect
and fucking politics. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real.
It's not real. Oh God, I'm done.
Oh shit. I got one little thing for him, and then we get back again.
I think it was a fair question, no?
But
one wrong.
What the hell?
Run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run.
Fire ban.
Run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run. Fire ban. Run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run. Run, devil man, run.
Fire ban.
People done. Look at the rainbow towers. Look at our people run. Man, I got different powers. No bomb, send spiritual fire. That near one Babylon. Fire. They don't really want none, They don't really want none. And a demon 10 that can die to ever touch one. Now they really cute Ed son, like why they have to cute Ed son. Fight. But then that's 2 for 1. Take that and a dead son. Hey,
too much so sad. Yeah, all right, let's get back to the show though. Dan, walk one, fire straight away, fire cannon. Fire one. Let's go.
Bruv, yeah, I'm good, man. Bruv, do you know what? I thought James Jones was doing all right with Mr. Goddard earlier on. I think I don't know. I hope he comes back still. That'd be a good discussion to have. But if you've lined it up, then cool. But no, I think and he also got John to concede that there might be an overrepresentation in the stop and searches given the demographics of London. So I commend John for conceding that point and sincerely considering it. But I want to know what Jupiter's got to sort of add on to that. Do you think black people are overrepresented in stop and search in certain areas?
Like I said, maybe the case, but I disagree with the solution. I don't believe in search. I believe that white people should be stopped just as much as black people in the city. I think that there's white drug dealers and there's black drug dealers. The only area where I would say, yeah, okay, I can say that there are people is in stabbings. So it wouldn't bother me if my white sons, my white sons do get stopped and searched when they've been through their teenage years. If my children be stopped and searched and their life saved, than to get rid of the stop and search, and they end up being stabbed on the streets. So it's out of your life. It's worth it for your life.
Yes, stop and search has already showed to not correlate to stopping knife crime. So they can stop and search till the houses come home, and either they find 1 minute they find nothing and end up humiliating innocent youth and making a youth like me grow up with a defranchised mentality towards the 1 minute towards the police, especially because we can see clearly that the white counterparts around us do not get treated but the same. Now, it is used to our advantage, yeah. So a lot of the times, white youths will either drive the car so we don't get stopped. Do you know what I'm saying? Or they'll hold the food because the feds ain't gonna search them. Like these are things that these are ways in which inner city youth, yeah, are let's say adapting to institutionalized racism. But that creates a feeling or a reality that they're being treated differently because of the color of their skin. Because there's something called reasonable grounds, yeah. So a police officer is not allowed to just stop and search someone just because they're in an area where someone was stabbed, yeah. Someone's got background noise. Yeah, they're not allowed to stop and search someone just because they're in an area where someone was stabbed. They have to have reasonable ground. They have to see, smell, touch, or hear something that directly links that individual to a crime before they stop and search someone. But unfortunately, based upon prejudice, there's many situations where you have black people who they don't have the reasonable grounds, but the police abuse their power and they use it as a tool to harass groups of people. Yeah, based upon their own personal prejudices that they're raised with. Yeah, and some of them are anti towards black people. In my experience, that's my experience. It might not be yours, but it's definitely mine. Yeah, so this is why, yeah, I'd say that the only way we could talk about actually solving knife crime is to actually invest in the youth and move them and give them something better to do, because we can see that knife crime only went up when there was a not when there was a lowering stop and search. No, when there was a lot of youth clubs shut and a lot of youth opportunities taken away, while that same system invests in that very drill music that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like on one hand, people like Logic, Low Key, the conscious artists that are rapping something, by the actual system, your radio system, they're not really being appreciated, and they're not being appreciated. Their music isn't being highlighted, but they are putting like a lot of the music that you're saying is contributing towards this on A-list playlists. You know what I'm saying? And they're making it the popping thing. So we got to deal with it on so many levels. And there's people like Tim Westwood who not only are invested in the music industry, where they're the main people bringing it, to a white guy that brings black guys to spit drill music about killing each other. Yeah, if you're saying drill's the issue, yeah, but there a lot of, you know, man. I keep your mute on mic, man. Yeah, yeah. So that sound was mad, but yeah. So you have them people there, and then on top of that, a lot of those people are invested in the very prisons that them black youths going to. You know what I'm saying? And those prisons are prisons for profit, modern day slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, at least 50 of them managed to get away on Tuesday.
50 of who?
Well, you know, the oppressed. Weren't they deported back to Jamaica?
What are you talking? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Wendy's racing.
Before we get onto that, I just posted a link to there's a Home Office report which looked at the initiatives they put in place to reduce crime. Operation Blunt 2, and from what I'm reading, yeah, what aspects of this correct? All right. So they said themselves that as an enhanced stop. So this is what they define it as. So enhanced stop and search to deter the carriage of lethal weapons. We used 10 years of police crime and other data from London to investigate the potential effect of stop and search on crime. We find that stop and search has only a very weak and inconsistent association with crime. While there is some correlation, most notably in relation to drugs offences, we conclude that the deterrent effect of stop and search is likely to be small at best. We struggle to find evidence of an effect of stop and search on violent crime. So basically, what they're saying is when they stop these kids on the street, they're detecting stuff like little bags of weed or whatever it is. That's what it's saying, the outcomes, and they define in this report a positive outcome could be basically a crime being detected. Yeah, so it could be for a drug offense, it could be relating to theft. So they stop someone on a moped and they find out that the moped's stolen, or they stop a car, they find out it's a ringer or whatever, right? But only 9% of stop and searches carried out in London resulted in a positive outcome for weapons, points, and blades. So 60% of the stop and searches are actually just detecting like drugs at the moment. And then there's arguments that could be made. Well, are you just detecting street level drug use as opposed to attempting to prevent higher level drug importation? Or, I mean, yeah, the arguments, it gets fucking complicated. And we all know that the guys who are bringing in tons give jobs to kids on estates who then, you know, they're the ones out there getting caught, or their shots are getting caught after they've picked up their little bag, they walk around the corner and they get stopped and searched. What does that actually do? It doesn't seem to have an effect on high level crime. So I would question it. And it seems they're using it in two ways. Well, this is the thing, Jupe, are you saying stop and search should be used to prevent crime, or should it be used to investigate crime?
Both. At the end of the day, I think stop and search should be increased. I think it should be made so that white youth are stopped and searched as well, because they do drugs just as much as black youths do. We all know that's true. At the end of the day, even if only 9% results in weapons, if they find drugs on other youths.
Yo, you got some background noise coming through, Jupiter. Yeah, so you got to sort out your mic, yeah. But there's no way to increase stop and search because it's based upon reasonable grounds. It's not based upon personal prejudice. So when people say increase stop and search, I don't understand what they're talking about.
That's a good point, you know.
Like they're asking to increase the crime rate or something. The legally, a police officer can't stop someone unless they see, smell, touch, or hear something that directly links that individual to a crime. So and anytime a police officer does that and has reasonable grounds, we all agree that that's a reasonable ground. So it's very simple, isn't it? But I'm just loading up the new thing now. But yeah, you can, yeah. But so yeah, so Jupiter, you want
reasonable grounds to you?
That again?
I said so. Fitting the description isn't reasonable grounds to you.
No.
But what you're saying, Jupiter, you're asking for more people to fit the description. Russ is saying that basically only people who there's reasonable grounds to believe they've committed a crime should be stopped and searched. If you're just saying arbitrarily raise the amount of stop and search, then you're gonna, this is going beyond reasonable ground. Do you not see what you're saying?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and I would say that we should allow our police force to stop anyone that they feel looks suspicious, even if it does cause a bit of a loophole. I don't care. I think more youths do.
Jupiter, they're already doing it and they're abusing their power. And what's happening is people are disproportionately being stopped for 10 bags of weed, yeah, and people with knives are still running around, yeah. So it's not solving the issue. It's just disproportionately making black people representative in the actual judiciary system, because some of these officers may, because of the media, look at a black person and think they have more criminal intent than a white person, so they could be stopping them based upon racial prejudices. That's why reasonable grounds is there, to stop them from doing racism. But the thing is, Jupiter, you'll be happy to know that they don't really care about that. So they abuse their power all the time. You know what I'm saying? To the point where to small extremes where they'll just stop someone just for the sake of it, because they just want to terrorize them. Yeah. And on the extreme cases where people have been killed, just like Edson, Ration, and there's a long list, you know what I'm saying, of people that have been killed in or died in police custody. So there's that they've already got a law that's stopping them from doing that, and they're really going against it. But to say to raise the stop and search is to say that you want people to be able to, police officers to be able to stop people based upon their personal prejudices, instead of police officers stopping people based upon strictly reasonable grounds.
No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is I think all youths should be stopped if there's a lot of them hanging about. And if they find drugs, that should lead, if it was old-fashioned policing, they should be able, that should lead them to the drugs, which would lead them to the gangs that are involved in a lot of the knife crime, because a lot of the knife crime is over drugs, and therefore it should all be interconnected and interrelated. Also, I'd like to point out that I don't believe that the police are going out of their way to pick on black youth. There's a reason for it, but why they're doing that, I don't know. Because they are worried about political correctness, and they are worried about being accused of racism. We know that from what happened with the grooming gangs and their lack of action. So if they are being called racist, I don't believe that they would actually go out of their way to pick on black youths, knowing full well that the first go-to is always racism anyway.
But they don't care. There's no punishment for them, so it doesn't matter. Do you know what I'm saying? They can. That's what we're saying. This is what police harassment is. This is what police brutality is. They don't care, and there's nothing that a 14-year-old boy can do if the police want to harass him every day just for the sake of it. There's nothing he can do. Well, in his eyes, obviously, there's organisations like Police to Police UK and Stopwatch UK that can actually take police to court and have they've won a lot of money, certain people in court, because the police got found to be harassing. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is a lot of them don't even know they can do that. So that's where the issue is. And I'd say that issue is on our community, not actually to educate ourselves about police brutality and more about stop and search and the law and how we can protect ourselves from that prejudice. You know what I'm saying? Rather than just saying, yeah, they're allowed to execute that prejudice in whatever way they see.
I would say that the figures are skewed anyway, because I've had 6 boys, and having white youths as well as like my mixed race son, I know for a fact that my boys got stopped regular, but whenever they never used to ask for a record of it, and they never used to wait around for a record of it. Whereas a black youth will go out of his way to make sure it's recorded. So there is loopholes to the figures not actually being correct anyway.
No, that can't be, unless you can establish that with some statistics. That can't be, like, that's just your opinion, isn't it, or your experience. That's not a factual. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not. You didn't just produce the statistics. You produced your opinion about something, which you're entitled to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Respect.
Yeah.
What do you think about like the family and like?
John, we you know what, we're gonna I'm gonna let you ask your question, but after your question, we're gonna have to lock off this show and start the new show. But yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back again. You get me? But yeah, big up. But and the next thing's saucy, so you can stay about if you're listening. Stay. But if you know what's going on, fire upon you and fire upon them and them fake marriage and all these things. Then yeah, stay around. And if you don't know what's going on, stay around and see what's going on. But yeah, this was the iTal show. And I can't lie, there's a little piece of pasta coming still. Oh, go on, John, go through.
So like going into the youth and all that lot, what do you think about like the breakdown of our family units? Do you think it's right that any woman should be able to bring up kids however she wants, or do you think that like there should be a man, a woman, a father and a mother in a family to bring up children? Because a lot of the crime I see and a lot of the things that I see is like kids are coming from broken families or one parent families, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on that kind of thing? Remember, I was going on about bringing the community together and keeping your families together. What do you think of that?
There's definitely been, structural breakdowns in the family structure. I think if you look at the statistics of each institution, so you can just look at let's take it out of stop and search. You can look at jobs, yeah. You're less likely to get a job if you've got a name that sounds like it's from African descent, yeah. So that's structural, yeah. even when they done like social experiments on going to buy cars, you might get it a bit cheaper, or you might have to pay a little bit more if you're black. There's places renting. There's actual, renting establishments that will say they do not, have been exposed to saying they don't want to rent to those blacks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna. There's no one that said they don't want to rent to those whites. That prejudice doesn't go both ways because it's institutional. So as Buddha was saying earlier, obviously Tommy Robinson is a small fry where racism is concerned, because the real racism we're talking about is on an institutional level. It's just mentalities like Tommy Robinson, or ethno-nationalism, and a lot of civic nationalists, not civic nationalists in its pure sense, like what its original thing is, but what it has definitely become, especially to a lot of Tommy fans, in my personal opinion still.
But I mean, I know what you're saying there, but like, a particular family I know, that there's just a mother, and she's got like 4 sons, and 2 of them have been in jail, yeah, and the other 2 are on the way to going in jail. So like, if that was a mother and a father though in a family, keeping them together, and there were more cohesion in the family, do you think that would help with keeping kids off the streets and going into crime and stuff like that?
Yeah, 100%. I do think that does play a role. I think there's loads of different determining factors, but that does play a role. And I think
it's something I see all the time, Respect.
I think on top of that, it takes there's an African proverb, and I think we're gonna leave this part of the show on this, that it takes a village to raise a child. So I think in all societies you are gonna have breakdowns in families, but this is where I think community work and communities coming together to actually support the youth who are affected by this. Because in the case that we do have, because I'm dealing with the situation that we do have broken down families, and I think that a lot of the time community centers and youth clubs and that social element was that thing that can actually even bridge that gap as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we're gonna lock off this show now. Yeah. Jupiter, Wendy, big up Dan, John. It's definitely been a good show, and this show's gonna be left up as well. So kind of the ITAR shows are good to go on. Buddha personally requested that it be left up, but I don't really want to have no pastor in it, and I've got something that I need to address still. So I'm gonna lock this show off. And I've started the new show. I'm sending the link in the chat right now so everyone can come over still. Jupiter, Wendy, John, and Dan, if you want to give some like closing remarks, go on, Jupiter. You can start off, and then Wendy, and then John, and then we can finish off with Dan, and then we'll go on to the next. We'll go on to the next half of the next part of the show still.
No, I think that the debate needs further discussion. I think that in some cases it's a bit more nuanced. I mean, I agree with John that there's been a breakdown in community, and we do need community cohesion. But what became a phenomenon around the youth clubs, John, in inner city London, was that we'd end up with stabbings at the youth clubs and outside the youth clubs. So we have to take that into consideration as well, just not to make it a gang hub, if you know what I mean. So there's pros and cons all round, and it really has to be looked into properly. We can't just throw out an answer out there and say this is the reason why, because it's more complex than that. So
Wendy.
Yeah, I'm just more interested in the ethnicity of these gangs that are roaming around. Is it, how long has the knife crime been going on? Respect, maybe you can answer it. I don't know. How long has it been going on, and has it got worse with immigration? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, Scotland had in the UK, Scotland had like some of the highest knife crime, much higher than London. So I don't think ethnicity really plays a role. I think
yeah, but we're talking London, not Scotland, aren't we?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying you asked about ethnicity, so those are white people.
Yeah.
Most violence is amongst them. So if you want to say ethnicity, then we probably point to white people for violence and like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's an ethnicity. I think it's a social and class issue here. But John, what's your final statements?
I've loved the Windrush thing. I've absolutely loved it. I've been furious about it since it happened. I told you a little bit what my dad did. Where we've got big issues with the Windrush. It looks like to me that the government have something against Jamaicans rather than other people who should be deported. We talked about Rob Valley, Harris, institutionalized racism, BBC, the biggest fucking paedophiles going. No wonder he's still in this country. I've not really liked the YouTube chat because they're too fucking aggressive and name calling and stuff like that. But I've loved the panel aspect. It's been good. Wendy, Jupiter, Nick, and the other guests all been great. I'll talk to James, and then maybe we'll get him on again sometime. And as long as not too many of us on, I'm surely love to talk and all that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to cut, but if he does want to have the discussion, we're here. You know what I'm saying? It's an open platform. And I think that he articulates some of the right-wing views much more directly than other people. That's why he's a person that I want to debate rather than the people that like go around it. I think he's very direct, so I can give him direct answers. So yeah, that's what I'd say about James Goddard. Dan, well, go on, Kazi.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think people just be open, innit? If ethno nationalists or the downtrodden white working class of this country feel that their views aren't being represented, then maybe be open to other equally kind of afflicted groups who also suffer and deal with the issues of poverty and live in the same areas, the same sort of areas. Yeah, just be open to other people's experiences. That's what I say. Don't read too much into the statistics. Question who did the research. What are the limits of the research? Don't buy into the headlines. And yeah, I don't know. I missed the Windrush thing. I missed the start of the show, so I can't really round anything up on that. But yeah, man, big up. Nice to hear Buddha being back on the panel. It's been a while, man. Yeah, big up the Lions Den. Yeah, man.
What are you talking about on your next stream, Respect?
It's a surprise. You just tune in and you'll see.
Hey, wait, yeah, that's me back in the chat. I'm back in the chat for this one. I'm getting popcorn. Ready, man. Fucking hell.
All right, cool. Bless up, my brother. All right. Yeah, you lot. Yeah, we'll definitely revisit this conversation. Jupiter, John, Wendy. This show's gonna lock off now. But yeah,
I'm going now. See you later.
All right. See you on the other side. There's the link to the new chat, people coming to the new one, and yeah, this one's gonna lock off in about 2 minutes. All right. Come over. Yeah, click the link in the chat. Yes. Yes. Yeah, come over, people. Come over. Locking off. All right, so this one, banners. It's already. All right. Yes. Big time. This one, trust me, family. It's time for that fire in the Lions Den. All right, I'm gonna lock off this one now, fam. Come true, I and love Muslim on hack. Real TV. Country. 20 faces. All right. So this is locking off now. Just click the link in the chat if you're looking to come over still. All right. Big up Buddha and big up this conversation.